Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. As you can see, there's only two of us here at the moment. Paul will be coming at some point. His exact words were, "I'll be there when I'm there." So he'll pop up like magic. Emma, come on. It's just turned 8:32. For our standards, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Thank you to everyone in the chat already. I love that. It's always a battle between who can get there first. And this evening it was Mark. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to... Now, it says Uncle Montana / Tony. I think we go between the two. Let us know what you want us to call you in the chat, so get it right. Good evening to Emma, even though you're already taking the mick out of us and we've already been on 3 minutes. And yeah, don't worry, we have so much to talk about on this international special. But yeah, first things first, Chloe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Doing good. Fantastic. We were just saying backstage before we pressed live that I had about an hour's sleep last night. So who knows? Who knows what I'm going to come out with? Who knows where the conversation is going to go? But we all know there'll be some football in there somewhere. And who knows? Hey, Sophie, we've just said Paul is on, don't worry, but he'll be here when he's here. His exact words. Good evening to Chris, who just popped into the chat. Ooh, I'm even more intrigued. Your artist DJ name. Oh, you're going to have to remix us a new intro. That'd be good, Chloe, wouldn't it? We're getting you women's football.
Yeah, interesting. Just be Paul, just...
Yes, just Paul Raven. That would be phenomenal. That would be fantastic. Right then. Now, speak the devil, and he shall appear. Good evening.
Hello.
He's like, oh no, wait, she's already introduced me. Hello.
I can't hear it. Hello.
How are you doing?
Chaotic.
Chaotic, of course. Well, that's why we hire you, Paul, to be honest, to bring the chaos.
Yeah,
And it's all...
I had to finish off my red and green eyeshadow for Wales.
Of course. Well, we
Naturally.
need to be on it, don't we, with our colour themes. Clearly black goes with everything. So I did think about the occasion for this one. But yeah. Yeah, Paul, I don't know if you heard that. We were saying Tony's gonna do us a remix for the WSL show. He has just said no. Which, I mean, we'll bring you around, Tony, don't worry. And Graham's just said raving or raging, because we said it's just going to be you, Paul, just like proper going for it in the pictures, just raving away. Is that interesting? So there we go. Big fish, little fish. Yes, good, perfect. That's
Big fish, little fish, cardboard box, hand jive, Macarena.
So you know,
big fish, little fish into the hand jive. That's
That's how we do it in the Midlands, you know.
I don't think Bob the Builder did that version, did he? When he topped the charts.
That's because he was a coward.
He didn't want to rock the boat too much, did Bob? Did he?
That's it.
He just wanted that Christmas #1. Yeah. So as we said, we are an award-winning football podcast, and we've already talked more about Bob the Builder more than anything else. So let's change that, shall we? Paul, now that you're here, we'll start off with some of the latest news that's been going around. So people might have saw this earlier in the week. A friend of the pod, Tom Gary, posted that the championship will have at least 2 cameras for coverage per game from next season. At least 2 cameras, guys. We're getting excited about cameras, which sounds ridiculous, but that's a step, isn't it? It's a step in the right direction. It's a step we're moving forward, and it'll stop the cameras like coming out of drain pipes and people's courts like flapping over the camera lens. So I'm all for it, to be honest. But the big one was there's also reports that they're going to rebrand the Women's Championship to WSL 2, back to what it was originally called when everything was rebranded as the Women's Super League. But the WSL will just say Women's Super League, WSL, rather than WSL 1, as it was known previously. So, Chloe, I saw you laughing there. WSL 2, thoughts?
I mean, I liked it back when we had it before. So, and it is kind of like the SWPL and SWPL2. So, It makes sense. It makes sense as long as we don't go backwards in other things. Then, yeah, sure.
Oh, disappointing. I thought you were going to be with me and Sophie. Like, no. Sounds lame. Paul, how about your thoughts on this for WSL 2?
I'm going to channel Rosie.
Wonderful.
It's shit. Like, it's what it. There's no need. Like, it's your typical American Glastonbury turn football into festival rebrand for the sake of rebranding bollocks, and like it doesn't need to be done. Like,
No.
it's a cosmetic thing. Let's face it, there are far more important things to be changed than let's go back 7 years to WSL and WSL2. And Tony, if Michelle Kang does have anything to do with it, then she bloody shouldn't. Like, I don't mind like the Americanization of stuff, because but even that, I'm being unfair to Americans because they have NWSL and then they have USL.
Yes.
And the USL Championship, which is also the USL, but the top division of the USL. And it's like, why can you not just have WSL Championship, National League? What is wrong with that? Everybody knows that. WSL2 sounds like it's this shitty under 21 reserve league Premier League 2 bollocks that they've got in the men's game. It's just no.
Yeah.
Give the championship its own identity rather than like, because it has its own very successful identity.
Yeah. Rather than like a crap sequel.
Yeah.
It's like we've got Need for Speed and like Fast and Furious and all of those. You know, the originals are much better than Fast and Furious 25 or whatever they're on to now.
That's it. It's going to be WSL, WSL2, WSL3, Tokyo Drift. Like,
or as Graham just put, WSL2, The Revenge. This time it's personal. Yeah, Matthew's on the exact same wavelength as me. They shouldn't be changing it back. As everyone knows, sequels never do well. Yes, good. And again, it's going to be confusing. There we go. It's going to be so confusing too, because people will just say WSL and then be like, oh yeah, WSL2, or the second one. Wait, it's going to be like the Conti Cup. People still call it the Conti Cup. It is no longer the Conti Cup, but it is the Conti Cup.
It's when they rebrand everything in about 5 years' time, and then it's WSL, and then to WSL, to WSL, and like they just go full. You know, Vin Diesel is the face of the league or something. And they have to kind of sit there and say, well, we used to have Paul Walker as the face of the league, but he's dead, so we're now going to have whoever's replaced Paul Walker.
Oh, miss. 10 minutes. That's it. In fact, no, 9. 9 minutes in.
9 minutes in before what? Did you have a sweepstake before I made the most inappropriate joke?
No, but I think we should. Right, from now on, take bets.
They'll just be clips. You know, at the end of the season, the montage will just be the championship disappearing into the distance with "See You Again" playing over it. Like,
these off to the sky.
These are also really obscure jokes. If people get these, fair play to you. Like,
yes, well done. You're in our age bracket. That's the thing, exactly what Graham's saying. It's going to be like X. Everyone still calls it Twitter, and everyone will still call it the championship. Yeah, good. Because as well, it lines up with the men's in that sense. You've got the Premier League, you've got the championship. You know the championship is the second tier, and it just makes sense. Rather than having WSL, WSL2.
Oh, Tony, don't manifest that. Jermaine Genius being the face of it. He's going to get... Well, he needs that Women's Football Ally Award, doesn't he? By admitting there's a second league, that's your guaranteed Women's Football Awards Male Ally Award, isn't it?
Male allies.
We have. Did you see, by the way, our American friend actually coaches a USL team? Did you see in the comments?
No, I didn't. Everyone's There we go. I coach a USL one team in America, and it's frustrating to explain to people where we are on the US soccer pyramid.
It sounds weird. It sounds weird to talk to someone who's actually in a, fair play to him, like a USL coach, to go, our American USL coach friend, Big Daddy. Like, I'm just kind of like,
yeah. Yeah, like I said to Tony earlier, any nickname that we won't sound strange as English people saying, that would be great, rather than Big Daddy. Because I don't know, it doesn't quite work for us, does it? In the English accent.
I don't know. It'd be amazing. Do you reckon he takes on giant haystacks on the other touchline? There you go. They're there. Wow. If anyone in the chat gets that one, I'll be really impressed. It's an English wrestling reference, by the way, from like the 70s. Don't worry.
I'm waiting for Graham to pop up like, yep.
He's there like, I remember that. I was watching that in my 40s. Like,
you can call me Zach. Yes. Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Zach, mate. There we go.
Thank you, Zach.
Zach just reminds me of Saved by the Bell. That's it. That's the only Zach I've ever known, just to let everyone know.
It's all right if people say, no. Sorry, Zach. I was just making bad jokes then.
Move on.
Are you allowed to say which team it is? If you're not allowed to say which team it is, then fair enough. But genuinely, so we can so we can adopt a USL team.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Like we'll just adopt your USL team. Like if you're involved in coaching them, we'll adopt it and we'll have updates every week.
That would be really cool. Yeah. So Zach, if you want to let us know what team that is, please do. And we'll definitely support one.
I would love
expand the coverage, yeah.
Football hipster me would love, like, if we find out which team it is, to just have one of their jerseys. Do you know how people have like retro jerseys and people are walking around in like Spanish jerseys and you're like, yeah, it's American second division.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You one of the cool kids know about this team, and we are the cool kids. I am just gonna have a word with Matthew here, because why isn't Grease 2 on that list? Because that is an incredible sequel with Michelle Pfeiffer singing the best song of all time, which is Cool Rider.
Do you know why that makes me laugh? Because Matthew is a massive Harry Potter fan, so he's basically said that 6 of the 7 Harry Potter films are shit. Like,
I mean, Emma, how are we friends? You've never seen Grease 2? No, right, everyone, if you haven't seen Grease 2, we will get to the football in a minute, I promise. You need to. You can't call it a sequel, and Graham needs to get in the bin for saying that Grease 2 needs to get in the bin. It just happens to be at Rydell, and nothing else is the same. There's T-Birds, Pink Ladies, nothing else. Nothing else is similar. So therefore, it's a fantastic sequel. Because it's not. What was that, sorry?
High School Musical 2 or 3, I think. I think 3 is probably the best.
I mean, High School Musical 2 has Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apawa'a as a song. So therefore, fantastic. Just because I get to say that out loud, and it's great. Which is a genuine Hawaiian fish, if anyone doesn't know that. And it's a fantastic song to get talking about.
Why is there a song about a Hawaiian fish?
Watch it.
That would then you can't explain Sharpay and Ryan. They just exist in their own little theatrical world. See, used to love that fish song. See, it's the fish song, and it works. It's a talent show at the summer camp, I believe, that they're singing about. And why not? Why not sing about a Hawaiian fish? It's also in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. They mention it as well, just in case, anyone that's not into musicals. It's a genuine thing. Right, so enough of the fish talk then, shall we?
Graham is right. Godfather 2 is better than the original.
Oh, good shout. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Ooh. Little Rock Rangers, currently USL 2, but moving to USL 1 next season, are looking to get you guys atop.
Pride of Arkansas.
Yes.
There you go. Pride of Arkansas.
Oh, that would be so cool. Yes, if we can arrange that, that would be incredible.
Google's.
Yeah. Look at us. Look at us networking.
Google's Little Rock Rangers team shop. Just have all Little Rock Rangers scarves.
Little Rock Rangers is a really cool name as well.
It's very metal. It sounds like a kid. It sounds like a kid's metal superhero show. Like they all turn up with guitars and like they're like Power Rangers, but they all play Master of Puppets to transform or something. Like
I will say the crest for it is quite good.
have you see? Chloe's on it. Chloe's gone and looked already. Like
Yep.
I've got to go and look now. Right.
Okay, well, you two.
Fantastic live award-winning podcasts. There we go.
We're on it.
That's amazing. That is a badge.
Yeah, exactly. How dare we interrupt the movie talk on the football podcast with football talk?
That is a belting badge. I'll do like circular badge.
I feel left out. I'm just over here. Put it in the group chat.
I do. I love how it's Arkansas's highest level soccer club.
I love that. Oh, I heard a joke the other day where Arkansas was the punchline.
Okay.
I can't remember it, so that means absolutely nothing to anyone, does it?
Well, there's that famous TikTok clip, which is America, you must explain. It says Kansas, but Arkansas. What is this? Why is it not Arkansas?
It's a lumberjack, Arkansas.
Wow.
Arkansas.
That's the moment of the night.
Arkansas. It's a Scottish person telling you they can do woodwork.
No, it isn't.
That's better.
Thanks, Carrie. Wicked's better than The Wizard of Oz, right? My issue with this is that they're completely different stories, and if anyone's actually read the book of Wicked, it's quite disturbing. So everyone get in the book because they love the film and the musical. That's great. Be prepared. It's not a children's book. Just to let everyone know, it's definitely not for children. Definitely teens and above for that one. Right. Oh, we have two teams, Wolves and Rangers. I coached at Wolves for 5 years. That's amazing, Zach. Thank you very much. Let's just find out more about different teams. I mean, I know it's been international break, but hey, let's look at different leagues around the world. Speaking of different leagues, I just want to shout out in the FA Cup, did we see Luton Town, ladies, in that penalty shootout? A 32-shot penalty shootout, shall we say. Let me get it up. I did have it, and then Twitter refreshed, and it was really annoying. Hang on. Bear with. Yeah. 32 penalties later, we're into the FA Cup third round. This is from Luton Town. It ended 15-14 to Luton against Stevenage Football Club.
That's got to be close to a record number of penalty shoots. The longest ever penalty shootouts. Here we go.
How you got that so quick?
I've got there quick. You see, as soon as you said that, I'm on it.
Also, that's crazy. Imagine being there and just watching that.
I've seen some of the videos of it. That final save. Yeah. So both of them had, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Both of them got 10 in a row. Okay. Then they both missed one. Okay.
Wow.
Then Luton then got the next 5. And Stevenage missed their last one. So that's what it went down to.
How many penalties was it again?
So it was 32 altogether.
32 altogether. That is the 6th in the men's game. That is the 6th longest penalty shootout in history. Because the longest penalty shootout history is between SC Dimona and Shimshon Tel Aviv. 56 penalties.
Ooh.
And then there was a game up your way, Washington versus Bedlington, 54.
Oh, there we go. Went to Bedlington once. I'll never go again.
I mean, it's not tennis, is it? But you know.
No, but to have that concentration for that, I can't even imagine. I can barely do it when it's like your average penalty shootout. Never mind going to 15-14 for that one. So yeah, massive shout out. Luton Town.
Presumably that means everybody on the team took at least one kick, including the goalies.
So I've lost it again, Luton. Yeah, they must have done, because they had, again, if we go back. Yeah, so they both took 10, missed once, that's 11, plus 15, so 16. So yeah, yeah. So 16 each, hence the 32 penalty shootout, but only 15 and 14 were converted on that one. But yeah, that's mad. Absolutely mad. So yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to shout that out, because that commitment and that concentration level was amazing. So yeah, well done. And this weekend we're going to have a look at the moment. That's completely wrong. At the end, I told you it was going to be a weird show tonight, guys. Buckle in. We will be having a look at the third round of the FA Cup, which is this weekend. So the championship teams and below, that sounds awful, doesn't it? But yeah, championship and below will be in that third round this weekend, while the WSL goes on as normal, and we'll be looking at all of those matches at the end.
There we go. Ty. If you know your social media people and they go, why have we had some random person follow us from the UK? There you go. It might be the first English person following the Little Rock Rangers.
Oh, very cool. Yeah,
they are LR Rangers on Twitter. Everybody, go and follow them. Just confuse them with an influx of like English social media followers.
Wait, so what's it, Paul? Hang on.
LR Rangers.
LR Rangers.
And there you go. Now you get to,
Rock Rangers. There we go.
Now you get to see their badge. That is a cool badge, isn't it?
That is incredibly cool.
And they play in red and black, which are emo colours, so they're an emo team. So I appreciate that.
I love that. That's great. Very cool indeed. Okay, cool. So okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Right. So Sophie says, if you go through all 11 players in a shootout, do they start again, or is it whoever volunteers? Yeah, I think there's always a lineup, isn't there, of who takes the penalties, and then
it's generally assumed the goalies are last, but everything else is whoever plays or who wants to take one. Personally, I prefer the ice hockey version, which where the shots go on as long as ever, but only 3 people are picked. So you just have the same 3 people rotating.
Oh, I don't know if that's better or worse.
I remember watching one in the Olympics where there was a really, really long one, and the American player TJ Oshie scored 3 penalty shots in a row to win it. Which is, I vote it's harder to score a penalty shot in ice hockey than it is in football. And I also think, and again, this is a American thing, I am a one-man radical person in favour. I think women's football, if they're serious, should bring back the old school MLS penalties, which are literally the ball is on the halfway line and you get 30 seconds to shoot.
Watch as many balls as you can.
Just one, the ball's on the halfway line.
Yeah.
And basically it's 1-on-1 from the halfway line. So it's like a break. It's like a breakaway. It's a 1-on-1 from the halfway line. And obviously it might be from just inside the half, but either way, you have 30 seconds to get a shot off, but you can do anything in that 30 seconds. So like,
after Graham's, after the first 10, blindfold them, spin them around 5 times, and then see who gets them in. That will definitely separate them. Or the half line could work. Yeah, half line could definitely work.
Bournemouth isn't an emo team, by the way, Tony. Bournemouth are just miserable. There's a difference between miserable and being emo, right?
Being emotional.
You know.
Oh dear. Sorry to any teams that do play in black and red. Paul will tell you whether you are emo or not, and that will that will work. Now another couple of quick bits and pieces, because obviously, of course, we could be here all day, couldn't we? Now I just wanted to shout out to Hannah Blundell as well, because she was interviewed, was it yesterday or the day before it came out? And she said, the support that she's received after announcing she was pregnant has been fantastic. And the difference between her and Sam Kerr and Christy Mewis's announcement of like the barrage of abuse that they've got. And she was like, look, at the end of the day, we're both announcing the same thing. Like, why can't you just be happy for someone for different circumstances?
So she did actually call it out?
Yeah.
Good on her.
Yeah, no, she did. So I just wanted to say well done to her, because as we've seen, it's very easy for people to just sit by and say nothing. So yeah, it was really nice that she acknowledged the difference between her announcement and Sam and Christie's as well. Now, speaking of homophobia, let's talk about, and I know people were talking about it in the chat earlier as well, Paul is getting ready. Look at him, he's cracking his knuckles. He's ready to go. So we all know about the Rainbow Laces campaign, to essentially make football an inclusive space, a safe space. And especially within the women's game, we are a very diverse, we're very accepting, and we're just incredible bunch, aren't we? That gather every week on a Wednesday. And so it's an accepted part of life. It's a non-question part of life in the women's game. But we know very much in the men's game, there's a lot of rampant homophobia still, and transphobia, and just a lot of hate in general. So what Rainbow Laces tried to do across football is, give rainbow armbands out, and just to make that message that you are safe, you are welcomed, you are accepted. Now, this has been going in the men's game, I believe, last couple of years. Was it 2018? I might have just made that up. But last couple of years at least. And most captains, they'll do it. They'll show they're an ally, whether they feel like they have to or not is a different argument, one we're not going to have today. But essentially, there's been some controversy because of people rejecting to wear the Rainbow Laces, Rainbow Captain's armband because of religious grounds. Now, this could turn into a really deep conversation. So what we'll try and keep it as is why some of the questions and some of the issues that we kind of have on the surface level. So for religious reasons, we know many countries around the world, it's still illegal to be gay, or to be anything other than cisgender, essentially. So we know for some people it can be very hard. We know, in some countries, you could still be arrested if you're associated with it. Like we know it's a hard situation. I just want to put that out there. But to make that statement of, I'm not wearing that, if you are a young boy or a young girl, or just a young person that is part of a club, and you are in a position where you are scared to come out, or you don't think you'll be accepted by the people around you, and you see the captain of your team go, no, I'm not wearing that. Now, for me, sensibly, you'd go, okay, that I'm going against it for religious reasons. I don't believe it. People can do what they want, but I don't personally believe it. I'll give the band to someone else for the evening. I'll let someone else take on that ownership. You don't have to wear the armband to be captain. Like it's not a massive thing at the end of it. So instead of that message not being received on the pitch, surely one of the other players could have worn it, or it could have been shown in a different way. So I just wanted to get some reactions. And again, people in the chat, if you've got opinions, please do share them. So Paul, I'll come to you first, because there's been two players in particular, one who refused to wear the band and another who was actually writing different messages on the armband to go into the game. So do you want to tell us a bit more about that and kind of your thoughts?
It's actually come out today. There's been 3 issues with it. One
tell
of
us.
them is slightly different. So the two with armbands are Sam Morsey, who is captain of Ipswich Town, and he is an Egyptian Muslim and an Egyptian international, and he openly basically refused to wear it on religious grounds, because he says homophobia is prohibited and considered haram, which literally means forbidden, but is, it's basically in kind of Christian context, it's a mortal sin. It's a you're going to hell kind of sin.
Yeah.
And again, and the other person was Mark Gay, who obviously is an English international. His family, though, he's obviously from a religious background because his family are from the Ivory Coast, I believe. And his father is a pastor, I believe, in an African church. And whilst he wore the armband, he wrote religious messages on it, which the FA have taken issue with because you cannot in football, under the laws of the game and the FA, have overtly political religious messages.
Yeah.
Which firstly surprises me, because the number of players who, will take shirts off after scoring a goal and have religious messages on their things, and obviously the amount of religious people. And I said homophobia is a sin, apparently, which it is, but homosexuality is what's considered a sin in Islam.
We knew what you meant. Don't worry.
Yeah. And Kerry, my editor here, just keeping me. That's what I look down for then. But basically,
I have sports journalist editor on my CV because I spent so much time doing it, even though I'm professionally a civil servant.
There you go. That's my partner Kerry, by the way, everybody. But yes, so Sophie mentions the main point, which for Sam Morsy, and he's not the first practicing Muslim player to have refused to wear rainbow stuff in these kind of initiatives. He's not the first religious person in sport to have received to do it, and it's definitely not just Islamic people who've done it, it's Christians who've done it as well. Mark Gay, of course, being a Christian. And my problem with it, as Sophie points out, with Sam Morsy in particular, but the pattern that follows all of the players in question, is gambling is also considered haram in Islam, to the point where it is described as the work of Satan. And so the hypocrisy of I will wear shirts with gambling companies, but not wear this is, and obviously alcohol sponsors as well, because true people, followers of Islam, don't drink. But I actually got into this because when it's pointed out, I had some people try and justify it by saying that apparently the difference is that homosexuality is a community sin because it corrupts the community, whereas gambling is a personal sin. And that's supposedly the line that clerics in the Quran have used, or people far more acknowledged than me. However, all the research I've done talked, and quoting verses from the Quran, which I won't go and dig out because I found them, but I basically went back to this guy with some verses from the Quran and hadiths, which are the Islamic equivalent of proverbs, basically, in the Bible. All emphasize gambling as a community sin and a sin that requires atonement. So basically, Sam Morsy is like a full of crap, and it can be fairly well understood that any excuse of not wanting to promote homosexuality under religious grounds by these football players is a smokescreen, particularly when they willingly join and wear shirts funded by gambling companies, and have no problem with that. Mark Gay, on the other hand, is a little bit more kind of grey, because he still wore the armband but had a message. I think the first message he had was "I love Jesus," statement of personal belief. Fine, nothing wrong with it. However, writing that on a rainbow armband when it is known that fundamentalist Christians also believe homosexuality is a sin.
Yeah.
You go, fair enough. So he was then sanctioned by the FA, or initially he was told that he may face action, and then the FA basically said, mate, don't do it again. And
Yeah, nothing came of it.
And at that point, you kind of look at it and go, fair enough. Okay, it's a statement of personal belief. Fine. And he still wore the armband. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. However, he did it again.
Yeah.
And at that point, you start looking and going, okay, this is a protest.
Because the second one, I believe, said Jesus loves you.
Yes.
I believe. And I think it came out today, his statement saying, well, it's a statement of love and inclusivity.
Yeah, but it has been greeted with cynicism, particularly given that, and again, we have to be incredibly careful with this, but given his family background and given the way that homosexuality is viewed in the region of the world that he originates from, in society, it is fair to argue that there is potential that it wasn't a statement of.
So, yeah, and especially when the FA has just kind of gone, no, we're not gonna.
I mean, the FA, realistically, the FA can't touch it, and the reason, and these players know that because religion, protected characteristic, which absolutely should be. However, so is sexuality.
Bingo. Yes.
So, and the third most blatant one. Sorry, Freya. This is why I did this, because I'm like, right, okay, here we go. The third and the one that annoyed me the most is Manchester United.
That's what I was going to come on to, so that's fine with me.
I was going to say you can explain it if you want, because I'm conscious I've already ranted for at least 5-10 minutes about it.
No, it's fine. Yes, so you can probably fill in the rest of the details, Paul. But essentially, Man United, and again, Sophie's picked it up in the chat there. There was going to be a special like rainbow jacket, because I know before Manchester United have had Love Unites Us All. I think it's more of like an Adidas thing, and they wear these training tops, jackets to promote the message, of this weekend. And it's going to be a rainbow jacket. And one of the players, I can't remember who it was, Paul, you probably can.
Youssef Mazraoui,
there we go.
who is a devout Muslim, and he is Moroccan.
Yes. So he refused to wear it. So the club statement came out and said, the team as a whole have said, we don't want him to be singled out as not wearing it. So none of us are going to wear this jacket. And that's how they've justified it. So I'll tell you what, Paul, before we come back to you, Chloe, have you got any thoughts so far that we haven't mentioned on this? Like feelings of a whole team just going, nah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to see, especially personally, because I'm both, a Christian and gay, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. But I think church I go to is more sort of accepting of it. But yeah, personally, I think people just use it as a shield and interpret how they want, really, and just use it as a shield to promote sort of hate. Yeah, really, it should be the complete opposite. But also, I kind of do get it on some of the players' side of where they're from, where it's not as accepted or even criminalised, but they're sort of scared that maybe they'll face repercussions for that. So it's a tough thing, really, for sort of both sides.
Because the issue then is, well, you can still wear an armband, you can still wear a jacket. It doesn't mean that you then are gay or you are promoting it. It just means that you're an ally. So you're supporting people to live how they want to live. You're saying you are accepted into this world. You do deserve to exist. And, it's for them, it's not my lifestyle, but, it doesn't bother me that you live it, because you're a completely different person. So it just, it's there, especially when you're in the public eye, like we said earlier about people looking up to their footballing idols. And you just think there should be a message of love and acceptance and positivity rather than, no, I'm putting a barrier up and making that divide line very, very obvious. Paul, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting that Chloe mentions, the players being scared about it, because and this is something I never thought I'd Google on a football podcast, LGBT rights in Egypt and how they treat it. And
Yeah, it's not great.
Apparently, not only is actually being LGBT in Egypt a criminal offence, but promoting it. So, because there was a famous thing called the Rainbow Flags incident, where a whole bunch of Egyptian activists in 2017 at a pop concert raised some rainbow flags, that took place in Cairo. And Egyptian TV, Egyptian news repeatedly incited against the LGBT community in general, and urged the Egyptian state to take immediate actions against anyone who was involved in the incident of raising the rainbow flags. More to the point, on TV, they shared personal information of some of the individuals who raised the flags. So the Egyptian state began arresting people. At least 84 people arrested. Many of them subjected to the most vile violations and tests. And they were accused of halting the rule of the Constitution, which would have had them imprisoned for 15 years. So
15 years.
15 years, yes. So and one of the main people involved, a young woman called Sarah Higazi, fled to Canada and died by suicide as a result of it. So another Egyptian LGBT people had to leave the country. In terms of promotions of LGBT people, in 2019, a TV host, Mohammed El Ghaiti, was jailed for a year just for having a gay man on his TV show.
Oh.
So this is what Sam Morsey was dealing with.
And
in that context,
yeah,
you understand why he perhaps would go, I'm not touching this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I completely get that. Like, that is terrifying. I completely get that. But like we said earlier, just give the band to someone else. And
this is the issue I have with Manchester United in particular. Like, if Ipswich didn't think, right, okay, give the band to someone else for whatever, then fair enough. And again, when you educate yourself a bit more on the context of what Egyptian people are suffering just for admitting LGBT people exist, then you look at it and think, okay, he probably looked at that and thought if he was seen wearing a rainbow armband, then he can go back to Egypt. Although Mo Salah wore it.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's perhaps because Salah thought, I am untouchable, effectively, as one of the biggest sports people on the planet. And then you get into conversations about privilege and
then it comes down to
deep conversations like that.
You can get away with, no, absolutely.
And so when you look at that, I was harsh on Sam Morsey online. I still think it was harsh on him. I still think that the way these changed are to take a stand.
Yeah.
But I move more to blaming Ipswich as a whole than him personally in that context. Man United, I think they're cowards. Genuinely. And it is interesting that it has come out since in The Athletic. There were players on that Man United team who were uncomfortable with the decision not to wear them. But they weren't named. And the reason they weren't named is because of the absolute
backlash they get.
vileness and the homophobic I mean, Man United fans were trying to get Manchester is red, not rainbow today going.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's
like, I'm sorry, if you've been to Canal Street.
Yeah. Like
Come
there is
on.
literally a gay village, a world famous gay village in Manchester.
And a cracking gay pride. Yeah.
So,
Like, we exist. Dear me. Yeah, but again, Twitter can be great for like-minded people, but there is a cesspit. And as soon as you mention anything with any of those keywords in, you're going to attract that kind of environment. And you don't blame them in the sense of their mental health. Like, that constant barrage of hate is horrible for anyone to deal with. But to have players who, would have won it, because odds are one of your friends, one of your co-workers, one of your family members is going to be somewhere on that LGBT spectrum. And to then say you're not supporting them, that must have been really, really hard for some players that did.
I mean, statistically,
yeah,
2 players on every Premier League squad are gay. Because 1 in 5 people across the world are LGBT. So statistically, each Premier League team has 4 LGBT players on it. So
yet,
and then of course, you wonder about things like whether these players who wanted to wear it because they had and I also talked about it personally because I've recently publicly come out as well. And people saying, I don't know whether this is the same for you guys as perhaps a little further open and whatever else. But people are like, why do we need stuff like this? I still fucking need it.
Yeah.
Because
of all those reactions, as Graham rightly says, because there are still people in the world who think it's the same.
I see it. I see it when I see it when my team Coventry City do things for Rainbow Laces, and you have some dickheads replying. You turn around and go, if I stood next to you at the Sky Blues game, and you recognise me because I'm from whatever, from Sky Blue Twitter, are you going to be looking at me going, am I in danger from you? Am I? If I take my brother to a game, is he in danger from you? If we all go to a game, are you guys in danger from them? It's like, is my partner in danger from them as a bisexual woman? You look at it and go, that's how many people are there, and that's when you start thinking, wow.
Yeah.
That's why we need stuff like this.
Exactly. And how many people, again, will happily say it online, but probably wouldn't dare do it in person, because then that would show their true colours. But online, they think they're untouchable because you can't get through the glass and you can't see who they really are.
I've had people try it when I've been playing ice hockey, and then I deal with them the way you can deal with people in ice hockey and go, that's when they use slurs and stuff, I'm like, you just got flattened by it. Insert slur here.
Yeah.
So it fascinates, and it really, really, I've noticed it far more since, kind of accepting myself, because I've always been believed and been an ally. But as soon as you accept yourself and realise stuff, and you start seeing it, and it affects you kind of viscerally, and you're just like, and it's really not been a good couple of weeks for football being for everybody, because of course, Lionesses game as well. I'm sure we're going to move on to that when we actually start talking about football shortly.
We definitely are. So we're going to put a pin in that there, and we will come back to those absolute tosspots in a moment. Last thing, news-wise, then, because everything else will relate to the matches. It was a bit of a weird one. Jill Ellis, a name that some of you might be familiar with, has left her position with San Diego Wave. And the start of that tweet, so many people were like, yes, she's withdrawn with immediate effect to take on a job at FIFA. And everyone was like, no, what is going on? So just as a summary, Paul, for people who might kind of know the name Jill Ellis, but not really know kind of why we're talking about her. What did she do? Why do people not really like her? And why is this new appointment on brand?
Well, Jill Ellis, incredibly famous name in women's football, World Cup winning manager with the US of A, has won absolutely everything. Don't worry, Tony. I am getting onto Casey Stoney's tweet. Don't worry. Incredibly famous manager. One of the most respected managerial figures in the women's game. Has recently been president of San Diego Wave in the NWSL. Now, long-time viewers of the podcast, or indeed people who just watch women's football, may remember the extensive discussion we had. Was it March? No, it was way back in July. Actually. Because in a quiet summer, a former employee of the San Diego Wave basically came out and said alleged horrible working conditions, mental health abuses and horrific working conditions where employees were taken advantage of, they were belittled, they were abused, they were verbally made to feel worthless. And Jill Ellis is the person who is obviously the buck stops with at the San Diego Wave and has done everything and was personally named as one of the people instigating this culture. Her response to this, as you'd perhaps expect from someone in a position of power, was to sue for defamation, which is a case that's still ongoing. So, and obviously these are all allegations. They're not, we don't have any knowledge of not whether they're true either way. But these allegations are hanging over San Diego Wave, and they are part of a lot of recent issues in the NWSL, and there's lots of questions over the commissioner and the amount of work that they've done. And now Jill Ellis is Chief Football Officer for FIFA. So naturally, FIFA, in classic FIFA fashion, decide to investigate someone who's under investigation for creating a toxic work environment as possibly one of their most powerful positions on the planet, setting football culture across the world.
Yeah. And it even states one of her key responsibilities will be to encompass key technical areas connected to the development of the game across the world. Yeah, absolutely. And she'll be working alongside Arsene Wenger as well.
And then we have, of course, Casey Stoney, who surprisingly recent, as Tony refers to, who surprisingly recent left San Diego Wave in the summer as well, who posted a cryptic tweet along the lines of "only in football" on the day that Jill Ellis was announced in this particular job. Now, now that Casey Stoney hasn't come out and said anything publicly, possibly because of non-disclosure agreements or all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But there have been lots of hints based on her social media activity. For example, when she left San Diego Wave, social media activity had her not even in America. She'd come back to the UK for a funeral of some description. Possibly a family member. It wasn't made clear, but she'd obviously suffered a loss that meant a lot to her. Because she was tweeting about rest in peace and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then she was let go, which is a scummy thing to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But just yeah, it's icky. It's really, really not a good look.
It's not, is it? So yeah, I mean, this can only mean bigger and better things for San Diego Wave that she's gone. However, watch this space for how she does at FIFA. So yeah, so if we hear anything else, we will definitely bring it to you. Now, what we'll do then? I'm very impressed with this mind. We've nearly an hour we've been on, and we haven't talked about any matches. So let's do that now, shall we? Chloe, we're going to come to you first. I've kind of tried to do them in date order, but we can just go around a bit. So we'll start with the Lionesses first. And don't worry, Alid, don't worry. We'll be talking about it. Don't you worry. Yeah, so first up, England, USA. Now, the BBC described the Lionesses as much improved and said that it was two of the best teams cancelling each other out. But Chloe, what did you make of this one? Because it wasn't...
Yeah, that sums it up. But also, yeah, they were sort of defensively improved. Like, I mean, not there was much to, you know.
Yeah, the defence was much better, wasn't it? But the rest of it was a bit...
Yeah. Of course, they were lucky that Lindsay Horan was offside for USA's goal. So there was that, and also the whole VAR thing of the green hand.
VAR was right, wasn't it?
Yeah, for once it was right. Yeah, the handball, which turned out to be being sort of hit in chest. Yeah, I mean, as expected, really, the USA sort of dominated sort of possession, had more shots, and although saying that they had 11 shots with 3 on target, and England had 4 shots and 1 on target. So, yeah, I mean, it's a friendly, so there's not much counting on it.
There's no such thing as a friendly, Chloe. Come on.
Yeah, I know. But,
especially England, USA. What a
yeah,
chance.
I think...
Especially with Emma Hayes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, especially with Emma Hayes.
There's no friendlies with Emma. Not a chance.
Earps did well with making a few saves, and yeah, it was okay, you know.
It was okay. There wasn't much of a change starting lineup, was it? Fairly predictable at this point for a team like USA. Because of course USA weren't at their full strength either, were they? They were missing their triple espresso. Do you think if they were there, Chloe, their proper front three, do you think it would have been a different story? Or even because the defense had improved? Or do you think it still would have been a close one?
I think it still would have been a close one. Obviously, USA, yes, they've got Emma Hayes, and yes, they've won, you know, already. But yeah, I think they're still sort of trying to find out how they're going to work, sort of under Emma Hayes going forward. So yeah, I think they'll still be pretty close between each other. So yeah.
Yeah, it was, especially because they'd advertised, 85,000 tickets, and I think official attendance was just over 78,000. So it seems like attendances are dropping slightly, but I suppose if people are going to more games in general, it becomes less of let's go to Wembley, because they're going to be back there in a few months. So if you can't make one, it's fine. But yeah, it's always still an occasion, isn't it? And of course, Rachel Daly got her... what's the word? She got
legacy cap.
Yes, she got a legacy cap. Honoured. There we go. That's the word. Got there eventually. So yeah, it was great to see her finally get honoured, and Izzy Christensen, Alex Scott, they all got their legacy caps as well, didn't they? I think at half time. And then did the under 17s do a lap of victory, lap of honour? I think they did. Again, there was a lot of it where it wasn't on TV, which is quite annoying. So lots of people were actually in the stadium videoing it and then sending it through. Emma was crying when it was on.
Because
I
I
first
was
time at Wembley. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. For once,
Yeah,
I
what were
wasn't
you
at the game, which I had other commitments. So
and again, there was a lot more of this when we come to the Sheffield match, but yeah, there's just something about Lionesses matches now that just doesn't interest us. I think I've had too many experiences now where so many people aren't there for the football, and it just ruins it. So yeah, I've said this before, but I'll try and get in like the entertainment section, no, like the atmosphere section, like with like the proper like supporters club and that. I think that's going to be the best way to go. Because I can't be dealing with
you don't want to be in the family zone.
Because it's a lot. Sophie, if you're still listening, Sophie has an anecdote from the Sheffield match, which I will share if she doesn't mind it later on. But that just kind of shows the audacity of some people. I can't go with some of the entitlement, but yeah. So a bit meh. But luckily, completely different to the second match, which we will talk about soon. However, I'm now going to talk about the first leg of the Euros qualifiers, and this is the first match between Wales and the Republic of Ireland. So this one, Republic of Ireland were, the higher in the rankings. We've seen, they got to the World Cup. And you just thought overall, with the players in both teams, no offence to Wales whatsoever, that Republic of Ireland, it'll be close because Wales are improving. They are getting better. But Ireland should have had this one in the bag. Now, looking at the stats as well, it was completely even, which was really interesting. And I think both teams had an air of just don't mess up this first leg. Like, just don't lose it. Go into it, maybe even playing field with a chance to come back on the second leg. And you could really feel it in this first leg. Now, I will say it was a record-breaking crowd at the Cardiff City Stadium, 16,845. So I know we were saying, Wembley, it was only 78,000. But crowds like that in Cardiff are incredible. So well done to everyone who went and made that possible. Wales started quite shaky. Their defence didn't look great, but against the run of play completely opened the scoring. It was a lovely ball from Kerry Holland to find Jess Fishlock down that right wing, and they were having a lot of luck on that right side. She played a really good ball into the far side of the box, and Lily Woodham just saw it home. And I think, Paul, I know he's eating at the minute, but as soon as that went in, we were like, Lily Woodham, she's got it. She's got the strike. And it was incredible. The noise in the stadium when that went in. So 1-0 to Wales. And you thought, okay, what are Ireland going to do? What's this comeback going to be like? Now, Olivia Clark had to be on her toes throughout. Chloe, did you say something there? No, that's fine. I thought I heard something come through and I was like, I don't want to ignore anyone. So Olivia Clark had to be on her toes, but Ireland just couldn't seem to get any luck. They were having the most creative shots. They were doing, they just didn't take their chances. And this lack of clinical finishing is what we've seen kind of across the leagues, haven't we? And it was true on the night as well. Now, about 15 minutes later, after this goal, Rusha Littlejohn, of all people, on that pitch. Now, we know what she can do. And I think because she's become more of a media personality recently, I think people underestimate how good she is at football. Now, she steps up and frankly had no right to shoot from that distance, but she did it anyway. And it went in. And it was so glad that she took that chance. Now, the initial ball in was deflected by a Welsh player. I can't remember who it was now. I didn't write it down at the time. But landed at the feet of Littlejohn. No one was around her at all. So she took her time. She was 40 yards out, maybe. Loads of time and space on the ball, no pressure, and just, I don't know if we can kind of call it a floaty lob. I need kind of Danny for the official adjudication here, but just loops it so nicely over everyone, comes down, and Clark gets a hand to it, but because it rebounds from Clark's hand, it went down as a Clark own goal rather than a Rusha goal. I'd be fuming if I was Rusha. I'd get it changed on the score sheet. But yeah, so it went down as 1-1. Now, Wales overall, especially after the break as well, had the better of the opportunities, but the girls in green came the closest to getting the winner in the 80th minute. Now, it was a lovely little turn and shoot from Hayes that came so close to going in, but Clark again pulling off some incredible saves to keep the score level. I think that was one-handed that she did that one. And then it was all to play for in Dublin. And he just thought, right, 1-1, this could do anything. This could go anywhere. And again, it was that feeling of both of these teams, it could be their first time going to the Euros. Like, they're both going to be battling for it. And I think we're all taking, well, I certainly was, bets on red cards in the second one, because the fouls, I think they had like 14 fouls each. Like, it was a bit of a physical game, as you would expect. Now, so that was Wales 1, Republic of Ireland 1 on the first leg. Yes, we're gonna come to it. Build up player for the second was fantastic. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, Sean said as well, congratulations to Rachel and Sarah on their engagement. Yes, absolutely. It was a really beautiful moment there. Yeah, paper aeroplanes at Wembley as well. I don't know why that's now a thing, but that needs to stop. No, thank you. So good timing, Paul, actually, because I'm going to come to you next for Paul, what would you like to do next? Would you like to do the Poland game or the England-Switzerland game? Where would you like to go next?
Let's do England-Switzerland, because it can be summed up fairly quickly, because it was crap.
Interesting. Tale of two halves. Tale of two halves.
Indeed. Is that Taylor Swift's? Is that Taylor Swift's AI sister? Taylor Two Halves.
See you next week.
That was a fair reaction gift right there. Right, I'm just moving because I've got to change rooms, so I'm going to talk to you while going upstairs, so you get a tour of my house.
Cribs with Paul. In fact, while waiting for Paul, Chloe, why don't we do the first Scotland-Finland, which again ended 0-0. So yeah, do you want to kind of sum that up for us while we're waiting for Paul to get into his new room?
It's not really much to sum up for that one, because it was obviously 0-0.
Get up.
Draws can be sort of exciting, some could be dull. Yeah, this one's a bit dull. It was one of those where both teams sort of snatched at chances, really. I mean, most of the chances was in the first 20 minutes in the first half. So it was just, I don't know, just nobody. I don't know. It just felt a bit flat, really, and yeah, just scuffing chances or sending it wide. There was some saves, but it's sort of, you say, easy enough sort of saves, really. But yeah, there's not much that really went on. I think they were both a bit cautious about, okay, there's a second leg coming up, and maybe we can do something then.
So again, a bit of like a just don't lose, like that kind of thing.
Also, Scotland at home, surely they would sort of perform a bit better and maybe get something, but no, it was just one of those dull 0-0 draws.
Now, there's a lot of talk on whether the Scottish manager is just signed a 4-year extension. Do you think they're actually going to see it out? Because it's the last couple of tournaments have just failed to qualify, haven't they? So do you reckon he's going to get a bit longer, do you think? Or do you reckon there'll be questions?
I think there'll be questions. Don't think it'll be long until we see that they sack him, really, because they've kind of gone backwards with him. Like, they've only beaten, I think I saw a stat, they only beaten sort of top 30 team like once or whatever in his time there, which is just terrible. Because the amount of talent they've got, like, yeah, like Erin Cuthbert obviously being the main person you think of, and then Scottish Sanka. Obviously, have to make the distinction. Scottish Sanka.
Yeah.
Um,
But even players like Kirsty Hansen, Caroline Weir, like you've got all these fantastic names in that Scottish line.
and then you've got Emma McCandy, Nicola Doherty, Lisa Evans, who are all 32. So whether they're going to be at, if they qualify for next tournament, are they actually going to be there? Because it's a couple of years away, or a couple of years, few years away.
Yeah. And again, big names that are starting to maybe age out, and maybe where's that youth coming through for that next generation. It's another Freya. Hello, other Freya. Gave up watching England halftime and watch Wales versus Republic of Ireland. Much more exciting. Yes, I think most of us did that. I did the opposite. I had Ireland versus Wales on the big screen. I had the Lionesses on my laptop and was just checking it out because, again, it was much, much more interesting. Paul, have you found Rosie up there? Or oh, he's muted. Oh, rubbish. Hang on.
Team Chaos. There you go. This is my loft.
Team Chaos.
You see?
Rosie, where are you?
This is my loft. You see, I have a loft as well.
Yeah, if we say Rosie 3 times, will she appear?
Oh.
Yeah, Tori's just put in the chat there. Sweden versus Serbia. Yeah, Sweden dominated that very, very comfortably, didn't they? Was it 8-0 on aggregate? I think.
It was 6-0 in the second leg, wasn't it?
6, yeah, absolutely. Zach's asking if you're okay. Yeah, Paul's fine. He just has
I'm fine. I'm just in a loft. See?
Yeah, we haven't banished him. He's just.
Yeah, I had to move upstairs because basically Kerry wanted to play.
What are you doing?
And Kerry has now appeared at the loft door and said, "What are you doing sat in the loft?"
He's got lofty ambitions.
Serious.
I have got lofty ambitions. Apparently, I don't need to sit in the loft. So.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically because the light is better in the loft than in my bedroom. So
you can stay in the loft if you want. That's fine. You're an adult. You can make your own choices.
Go on an adventure.
Yeah, Kevin's convinced I've trashed the loft because apparently I was banging about in there.
Oh,
it's fine. There's nothing in there. She's like, "What did you move?" I'm like, "There's nothing. I didn't move anything. Honestly. I'll fix it."
Moved everything, Kerry. Get him
domestic drama now because I moved the loft. Don't like. She's panicking because she's convinced I moved stuff. I literally moved a chair. So there you go. But anyway,
let's talk about England, Switzerland.
England, Switzerland, which was less dramatic than me going into a loft. That is the because that was the bit where Grace Clinton scored early on.
Yes.
And then nothing else happened. This is why everybody turned off, because if you look at it, everyone was like, "Oh, it was all exciting because there were lots of debuts." I mean, the most exciting bit was probably the team sheet, because
with everyone going, "So where's everyone playing?"
everyone sat there going, "How's this going to work?" Like Maya Letitia wearing number 8, which, sorry, as an old school football fan, I just find offensive. A centre back wearing number 8 is just wrong on about 4 or 5 different levels. but the best moment happened because I mean, if the best moment of the Sweden-Serbia game was Kosovo Aslani having to retake a corner 3 times, that was still more interesting than.
But was it as good as Christy Mewis versus the corner flag? That's what I want to know. Nothing will ever beat that moment. Nothing will ever beat
that was women's football heritage, frankly.
Iconic. That's what it is.
But like England versus Switzerland women, the game, it wasn't very good. Like,
no.
It was one of those games where you kind of look at it and go, you had the lineups because the people starting, you had Esme Morgan playing, which is still just strange on about 4 different levels because she barely plays for, well, she barely played for Manchester City. She probably plays a little bit more now in the NWSL.
Mm.
But you had Ruby Mace sitting at centre back. Apparently, Maya Letitia was playing on the right wing. I'm not sure that was quite the case.
Yeah,
Along with
so
Gabby George, according to the BBC.
Yeah, according to the BBC, it was a 3-1-4-2.
Which is why you never trust the BBC for formations.
Bizarre, yeah.
But like Laura Blinkilde Brown got to play. She's a talent and a half. I know you
Yeah.
Villa folk love her. Aggie Beaver Jones got to start for England, which prayer circle. Hurrah. An actual striker playing at number 9 for England.
I know.
Yeah, it was weird.
Shock horror, yeah.
But it still didn't really, she didn't have the best start, but it was a friendly against Switzerland at Bramall Lane.
Yeah.
At a 3/4 fill Bramall Lane, we were talking about attendances early on. It wasn't anywhere near full.
What was it, about 23?
23,000 in a 32,000 seater stadium.
Mm.
And then it, and that was on the pitch. Grace Clinton scored. Manchester United fans got far too excited about her because she's a more expensive Annabelle Blanchard. And
I will say though, she looked very confident in that team, and I would be quite happy to see her starting more.
I mean, obligatory. How far are we in? 1 hour 15 minutes. Obligatory Mark Skinner reference. She looks far more confident for England than she does for Manchester United, and she looks far happier and far more involved and comfortable in the system, which is using her strengths.
Did you see the bit where she said she zones out when people talk too long? Especially after the video of them before where she said she fell asleep in a team meeting once.
Yeah.
Just like, yes. Sophie's just put there, George and Tessia were wing-backs.
Yeah, but neither of them are wing-backs.
No.
Like, if you're going to
play wing-backs,
play actual wing-backs. Play Neve, I know she was injured, but Neve Charles is a wing-back. Like, Neve Charles, I'd love to see play there. Mars Pacheco could be a wing-back, but, she's now... Is she officially declared for...
Yeah, so she was part of the squad, but she doesn't have a passport, so she couldn't play. So she went to the last training camp, and then, as far as I'm aware, they didn't actually have a game in this window, so they didn't meet up. So in the new year, we are hoping for that.
But sadly, the main thing about this thing at Bramall Lane was, again, nothing to do with the football on the pitch.
Nope.
It was.
Because yet again, we had some protesters.
And one of the people who did that was the person who was on the Talk Sport show we talked about. Was it last week or the week? It was the week before. Because last week was about Brenda. The week before that, it was the woman from the Talk Sport podcast being legitimised.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I didn't click it was her.
And the fact. You can't stop people coming in if they have banners in their pockets and whatever else. You can't search everybody for banners, but the fact that these people are turning up at a Lionesses game trying to spread their hate is just no. And I'm almost glad it was a friendly that most of us, wouldn't have got the views that an actually important Lionesses game would have done. And as far as I know, I wasn't watching it on ITV4 much, but as far as I know, it wasn't given any publicity.
Not that I'm aware of. I only saw it on Twitter. Yeah. For people who might not have seen it, so essentially this was a homophobic, transphobic group who claimed to be for women and protecting women's sports by segregating women and telling some women that they don't exist in a women's space, which is quite frankly ridiculous. So Sophie was actually at that match, and she said, I saw the counter protesters first and was really confused why they were there, and then saw the others and was like, oh. So actually outside the stadium, this horrendous group had arranged for a protest outside of the game. And there was only a couple of them there because ridiculous. But then apparently the counter protest, telling them they're ridiculous, was a lot bigger. So that's what's so good. And then a couple of them managed to bring a sign in. I saw 2 signs. I'm not quite sure if there were any more or not. Essentially saying women's sports are for women or something daft like that. And it's like, yeah, women's sports are for women. All women.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sophie was like, they were like 8 50-year-old men. Yeah, sounds about right. To be fair, that's right. Because, you know, they know so much about women's sport, don't they? So ridiculous people trying to make a protest at women's football, to which we all kind of say get in the bin. But yeah, the fact that they think they can do that, and the fact that hopefully, because they did plaster it on social media, that hopefully someone will investigate that and be like, right, you're banned, don't come back, because you're not making it about the football then, are you? Because that trans women in sport is not an issue. It's a literal non-issue. Like, we keep talking about this, because there are far worse problems in women's football than things that don't exist and don't matter. So the fact that became more of a thing of the night than the actual football was quite terrible. However, we have to mention Laura Woods as well, don't we?
I wish we didn't, because she is another one who's supported those people in the past. But
she has. She said some comments over the Olympics in the summer, which we all didn't agree with, because people being in that position, you'd think, watch what you say. Again, if you think that, keep it to yourself. Don't plaster it all over Twitter. And then last night was fantastic because, Paul, who did she get confused?
Kiara Keating and the England under-23s teams, who are apparently all Hannah Hampton's friends and admirers.
Oh, friends, football friends.
because I mean, after all, it's not like you could expect the presenter of the flagship channel covering the Lionesses to actually recognise any Lionesses.
No.
It's not like Kiara Keating has played for England on a broadcast she presented or anything like that.
And the fact that she prefaced it with, "Oh, that's so lovely. Hannah Hampton spending time greeting her friends and fans." And then Karen Carney goes, "Hang on, that's Kiara Keating." So Karen Carney clicked and was like, "No, that's Kiara Keating." No mention of the under-23s at all. And it's Izzy Goodwin's right there. Like, she is so tall, you can't not know what she looks like.
Laura Woods being Laura Woods, she probably thought Kiara Keating could have been any one of about 5 or 6 of the England team, because, you know, it's hard to tell them all apart, isn't it? Again, not my view, satire.
We'll put it out there. It's a caveat. Everyone.
But like Graham says, basic journalistic integrity to actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And nobody's expecting Laura Woods to be able to describe the intricacies of inverted wing backs.
No, because she's not there as a pundit. But you think as a presenter.
But you need to know who Kiara Keating is.
At least.
Not even if you don't know who the rest of the under-23s are, which is fair enough, because some of the under-23s you may not have seen, although Laura Woods does present the WSL coverage sometimes as well. So, you know, as a passionate defender of women's football, you'd think she'd be aware of the WSL, but maybe not.
Nope, apparently not. But yeah,
I love how Tony's trying to get me cancelled, by the way.
I was going to say, Tony has already got a lot of people coming from in the comments. We'll
we do not need a manufactured racism storm. We really don't.
No, not on top of everything else. Yeah, Graham, no, you could never be like that. You're one of the good ones. Do not worry. Don't worry. It's like she went, it's only ITV4. Yeah, speaking of that, so was I working? I was doing something and I said to Georgie, I was like, oh, can you put the football on for us, get the telly on? Make sure it's recording if it's not. And she got the guide up and she went, it's not on. No, ITV4. She's like, oh.
Oh, you would have got Coronation Street though, wouldn't you?
I know, yeah. She's like, oh, it hasn't started yet. I was like, no. We're not on the good
Sean
channels.
points out, Laura Woods presents the WSL show. So she'd know who the under-23s were. It's her job to know, you know.
Also,
Right.
Coronation Street wasn't even on last night. It's on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Ah, you see, it's been a while. I'm used to 5 days a week soaps, you know.
Used to be on every night. Standards are dropping.
Just like football punditry.
And not even that, just the presenters. And of course, the massive thing we haven't mentioned, Lucy Bronze not being on the team sheet.
I mean,
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, it also happened with the admin error that Noel Moritz played for Villa in the cup game, but no, people didn't want to accept that, did they? That was that was a human error too far. But yeah, no, I think it was more so the fact that our name wasn't read out in the stadium when they were announcing the teams and the subs. That should have been a red flag. But then the fact she was warming up, she got ready, she was on the sidelines, and then had to go sit back down. And
You
you
took
just
it
think,
well.
I mean, she was laughing outwardly. Whether she thought that inwardly is a different kettle of fish.
she's probably sat there thinking, "Oh well, at least I got a decent day out in Sheffield."
Yeah.
the wondrous sights of one of the few remaining city centre stadiums in the Premier League, and also one of the this is my real nerd, one of the few stadiums in England to have hosted both an England football and an England cricket international. So, you know, she got that. She's got that going for her.
And I believe, according to my sources, they had a lovely time at the Christmas market as well. They were walking through the market before the game.
It is a decent Christmas market in Sheffield. They don't do very good German sausage though.
Well, you can let them know, Paul. You can tell them.
The Brum ones from Frankfurt, always.
Oh, the Birmingham Christmas market. If anyone hasn't been, over a mile long, all the same stuff mirrored all the way along, but everything just tastes incredible.
Frankfurt Christmas market style thing in Birmingham, yeah.
It's proper. And they have amaretto hot chocolate, which is the greatest thing ever.
They do. Yeah. Every year, it's like, I just want to go for the hot chocolate. And
We used to have a Jägermeister hot chocolate there, which is lethal.
Yes, they did. But yeah, the hot cherry wine, that was nice. That sounds good.
Yeah, we just sat there.
You trip to Birmingham market.
You know, more interesting than the England internationals.
Yeah. Yeah. What liquor can you put in your hot chocolate at the Christmas market? Much better. Right. So next up, Chloe, I don't know if you've got to go soon. But if you just want to tell us about the second Finland-Scotland game, then the one that saw Finland through. Spoiler alert. Was it the better team finally came out on the night?
Yeah, I think so. Finland seemed to be sort of more up for it than Scotland were. I mean, obviously, home crowd helped, and they were definitely getting behind Finland for sure. And I think really it was not taking the chances in the first leg that sort of cost them really. I mean, also cost them in this leg as well. But yeah, that first goal, that was one of those where you're like, yeah, you're not really saving those, are you? Sort of nice sort of passing play. Then you got I can't even pronounce the name. Kuika, I think it is. Kuika, yeah.
I'll help you with today's. You do the match report.
Tough names. But yeah, a sort of nice passing play, and then she was sort of left in space, had plenty of time just to set herself. It was like 30 yards out and just hit it. Oh, quite a fundy bee. It wasn't quite that sort of, hit and stay hit, but it was it was quite the goal. I mean, fair play to her. I mean, the second one was more sort of defensive error type thing. They sort of, it was sort of near the corner and then trying to play out the back, and just completely fluffed it. And then a shot taken by Latola was, I mean, she went one way, the goalkeeper went the other, and sort of realised a bit too late. I was like, oh no. And it was, yeah. And that was in the first half hour. So there was time for Scotland to come back, but yeah, they just couldn't take their chances, and that was another tournament they're missing out on.
Yeah, they're missing something, aren't they? So whether that's a new manager, like we said earlier, or something a bit different, it's something's not quite going right. But this for Finland, I think I saw they've now qualified 5 times out of the last 6. I think I've got that stat right. So out of both of them, Finland were kind of always more likely to go through. But yeah, after that 0-0 draw, you just thought, okay, could Scotland come back? Could Scotland do something? So yeah, perfect. Right, thank you. So that was 2-0, sending Finland through. 2-0 on aggregate as well. Lovely. Right, Paul, should we come back to you for Poland, Austria? Another one that you were very happy to do.
I'm very happy to do this because Eva Bayo,
she was over the moon, wasn't she? She was so happy.
If Eva Bayo was born slightly further west, she would be a superstar.
Yes.
If she was
Agreed.
German, if she was French, if she was for one of the home nations, she would already be an absolute super. She is a machine. She is an absolute assassin of a player. And Poland have very quietly been building a hell of a women's team. If you actually look at kind of where the Polish women's team are playing now, they're slowly being taken seriously. And I'm going to have fun with some names here because some of the Polish women's football names, Polish names in general, are quite fun. But you kind of look at them and they are starting to get going under Nina Patalon, who is the coach, and whose name means trousers in French, which is amazing. She's only 38, so she's younger than me, which is depressing. But after managing Medic Konin, which is one of the bigger teams in Poland, she's worked her way up in proper manager development fashion through the Poland age group teams until 2021, when she became manager of the Polish national team. And, WSL representation, Kinga Szemik, West Ham United's goalie.
I was going to say, I know how to say that one. Szemik
is in the Polish team. But again, you look at some of the names. Obviously, there's a bunch who play in Germany because of the number of Poles who have moved and played in Germany. But Eva Pajor, for example, now plays for Barcelona.
She
after
does,
previously playing for Wolfsburg. 64 goals in 95 games. That's a ridiculous run in terms of players. Other players you kind of look at who may be familiar to WSL watchers. Nikola Karczewska, previously of Spurs, he now plays for AC Milan. And then you have Natalia Wöbel, who plays for Glasgow City. But,
of course, yeah.
But the key thing are the age of the Polish team. They are all coming into their prime. They're all in their mid to late 20s. The vast majority of them. Eva Pajor is 28, so she's banging her prime. But a player to keep an eye out for is Tanja Pawolek, who plays for Eintracht Frankfurt as a midfielder. And she could put a pass on the eye of a needle. She's, you could drop a 5p on one side of the pitch and she'd land the ball on it from the other side. It's that level of
It's a high
accuracy.
praise indeed, yeah.
You know, as we know, I love a creative midfielder. I'm all about the assists, me.
You do, yeah.
And Everpayor is a fantastic goal scorer, but perhaps the question sometimes is who's going to feed her for Poland, because obviously for Wolfsburg, she's had a lot of very good German players feeding her. But now there's players like Tanya Pavolek, there's players like Kayla Adamek as well. And you just start looking and going, this team can do something, you know.
Yeah.
Olivia. Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's see if I can say this properly. Olivia Szpakowska. There you go. Got it.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Who plays for Birmingham City. And there is also Olivia Vosch, who is an absolute unit. She plays for Basel in the Swiss league. She is 6 foot tall.
6 foot.
And you know, people look at Wendy Renard and go, kind of, you know, she's physically imposing. Olivia Vosch is terrifying. Like she is
In the best possible way, of course.
In the best possible way. She is Millie Bright level impressive.
Wow.
And just, I mean, I don't know whether it's I don't know whether I'm slightly biased being from Coventry, because Coventry has a massive Polish population. So, you know, when Poland were playing in the Men's World Cup, you could walk into the city centre and see the red and white flags all over the place, because we have so many Poles and people of Polish descent over here who came over here and helped rebuild the city during World War II and helped rebuild the city. So, you know, Coventry has a proud Polish diaspora. So it might be just being exposed to Poles in general that has given me a soft spot for them. But I started watching the Polish national team because of Everpayor, and you know, Austria, who they beat, are no slouches. You know, we saw Austria in the World Cup, we saw Austria in the Euros, and Poland dominated, and they're just. I think they're a team to watch at the Euros. I think they're one of those teams that people will kind of go, oh, they're also rans because they came through the playoffs. But I am already picking Poland as dark horses to do something at Euro 2025, if games like this are any indication.
I think they might, because again, Eva Payor, she got the winner, didn't she? The 94th minute, so right at the end there, sealing that. And I was just looking at Olivia Wash there, and there's a picture of her behind from the German league against a player from Ajax. It looks like she's superimposed behind the other player because she's so tall and so like a force, like you said, on the pitch. But yeah, I can see that team doing very, very good things. Chris has put there, Poland are in pot 4 of the draw. Yes, people were talking about when the draw is. And I can tell you, Sophie was correct as yours is, Monday the 16th of December at 6 o'clock Central European time. Okay, so 6 o'clock Central European.
5 o'clock our time.
Then. 5 o'clock our time. Yes, thank you very much. I was like, I know it's an hour. Which
way?
Which way am I adding? What maths am I doing now?
That always confuses me in the Champions League when you sat there watching it and you're watching teams in Eastern Europe kick off at like 7 o'clock and you're like, it's practically midnight there by the time the game's finished. Or particularly in the Women's League when, you know, they go and play the Eastern European teams and this game kicks off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, why? And then realise that's actually an evening game.
It's just when like even like Spanish and Italian leagues as well, when you're like, right, the match is on at 11:30, lovely. So you go down at 11:30 and you're like, oh, they're already 40. What? It's already half time. What's going on? Because you haven't done the maths of what's going on. No, it's a compliment, Sophie. Take it. You can expand your doorways. That's absolutely fine by me.
Speaking of compliments, thank you for the compliments on Polish names. or
Yes.
my ability to pronunciate them. I can I can say Polish names, but I can't say pronounce. So, I'm just going to say from now on and not pronounce. But
No,
that's
you're very
long commentary practice. That is.
And that's the thing, is doing your research, making sure at least it kind of
And you have to when you have to
sentiment is there.
commentate on Polish ice hockey, and you have names like Rafał Radziszewski and Branko Radivojevic, then you're like, these are
They're
easy.
good names though. They're quite satisfying to say.
The only one I can't say actually is a Swiss name. So
Okay.
if someone in the chat can tell me how to pronounce Anna Chungevich properly, because I can kind of get there, but I'm sure I'm missing a syllable.
You'll have to just message them and be like, "Excuse me, I've been trying to say your name
Properly.
Can you send me a voice clip?" That would be perfect. Well, right then, we've got a couple more to go through. The exciting one that I couldn't wait to talk about: the rematch of the Republic of Ireland and Wales. Now, going back to the Aviva Stadium, nearly 26,000 fans came along for this one. And honestly, I can't remember who said it earlier. I think it was Alid. He said, the build up to this game was incredible. Now, everyone was looking forward to it. I know I've had messages off Johnny. So if Johnny's watching, thank you very much. It was like, "Freya, can I give him a match report? And can you read it out?" I was like, "I'll definitely take thoughts." Cross-referencing with what I've got, because so much happened. My notes on this match, I was getting really excited as I was going through, so apologies if it's a bit long. Now, it was all to play for. As we've said before, both of these teams, it was their chance to go to the Euros for the first time. Now, Ireland looked like they were going to win. They just, every moment they had the possession, they had 17 shots overall, and it looked like it was theirs to lose, and ultimately it was, and it was heartbreaking. Now, Ireland, again, started off incredibly strong, had some really close chances. Denise O'Sullivan was on it all night. Her first shot curled just a bit too far and hit the crossbar. Julianne Russell came close moments later, and you just thought one of these is going to go in. Like, something's got to happen. Now, Katie McCabe, I don't know if anyone else was watching it in the chat, or Paul, if you've got any thoughts as well. Katie McCabe didn't seem like 100% herself during the match. I don't know if it was the pressure of an event or just everything that was happening, but it was missing a bit of her magic. And I genuinely thought she was going to get a red card at one point. I think she was very, very lucky not to get a red card. But yeah, Paul, did you notice anything different about Kate McCabe, or was that just me?
She should have had a red card.
Should have had a red card, yeah.
I think, she was, and again, seamlessly linking the chat, because Tony, with an old school Polish hockey player reference for the NHL, which has made me very happy, Krzysztof Oliva, who was an absolute beast. But Katie McCabe just was not Katie McCabe in the sense she had all the shithousery without the ability to make up for being a shithouse by also being a very good footballer.
And just even her, like, we know how good she is from set pieces. We know what she can score from corners, and it just seemed like it was just always a bit off, wasn't it? There was something not right. There was something a bit missing. And even the fact that Rusha Littlejohn at the end did the post-match, didn't she, rather than her, which we're going to talk about, because Rusha needs more accolades, really does. I will say, though, Courtney Brosnan, what a bloody goalkeeper she is. What a goalkeeper. She made some incredible saves across the two matches, but yeah, she definitely kept that scoreline down more than anything. Now, the Welsh defence, again, looked a bit shaky in that first half, and Ireland really should have been able to make more of their chances. Again, similar to the first match. considering their experience, their quality, but the chances they were creating, you just thought one of these has got to go in. Now, there was a VAR shout in the 47th minute. The commentators missed it, didn't know what they were reviewing, didn't know why the play had stopped. They were all like, oh, is it a high boot? What's going on? And it turns out the ball came off Anna Patton's elbow as she was jumping up to try and clear the ball. So, Paul, did you see this? This moment?
It's one of those where you're looking at...
Is it a handball when you're jumping? Where are your hands meant to go?
I think the handball rule is bollocks anyway, because I think no one can define an unnatural position. Because the number of penalties we've seen given in the men's and the women's game where players have been full length sliding to block, and it's been claimed that their arms flying out to balance have been in an unnatural position. Like, sorry, if you do a sliding tackle, your arms come out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like asking people to do a parachute jump, to skydive and keep their arms in. Like,
yeah, it's just not going to happen, is it?
It's not going to happen. But also, at this point, it has been several years, and you know we've seen players start to adjust where players are now blocking shots effectively with arms, you know, behind their back.
Obviously behind their back, yeah.
So players have had the ability to adjust, and again, like Tony says, that situation has been called as a pain countless times in the Premier League.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a new normal, really, isn't it?
There are ways, you know. I'm quite surprised coaching hasn't adjusted, because there's the argument that, you know, you jump, you throw your arms up in the air and then kind of down as if you're pulling up a ladder to give yourself extra spring. Apparently, I can't jump for toffee, so I wouldn't know. Me trying to jump for a header is like a dyslexic seal. Like, the ball will be somewhere, but the jump will be way mistimed. So,
a dyslexic seal. Wow.
You know, it's like a sleepy killer whale. It's very slow, and eventually I get up there, but it's about 10 seconds after it's supposed to be. But what does surprise me, possibly dyspraxic, because that's people who can't move.
I'd probably say, yeah.
Apologies to dyslexic people for managing to confuse which is which. I had a follow-up joke for White Men Can't Jump, but I couldn't think of it. I can get it out.
It's all right. Grim got there. It's okay.
I was trying to think of a line from the film just to see if I could get it in there, but they were way too sweary.
You censored yourself. What's going on?
I'm censoring myself for White Men Can't Jump when a lot of it is racial humour. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to be taken.
Yes. Don't any more shouts on racism.
We don't want any more shouts. Tony will be like, clip that one up and put it on the social.
Yeah.
It's a quote from a film. You know, he's determined to get me cancelled.
Yeah.
But I think it was a penalty. I think.
Yeah. Because some people were saying, well, none of the players called for it because none of the players saw it. And it's like, well, that's not the point. If it's still a foul.
None of the players see stuff that happens. Went zombie then, walking under the light. None of the players see stuff happen behind the play. It doesn't mean that it's not a penalty.
No, not at all.
But the fact it's not a good look when the referee doesn't see what was. When you look at it, okay, that's a fairly obvious penalty.
Yeah.
You then question why the referee didn't see at least the potential. It would have looked far better if the referee had blown and VAR had said, actually, we need to have a look at that. And then you look at it and go, okay, we're happy it's a penalty.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because the ref's name has escaped me.
Emily Heaslip. No, just sorry.
No.
There would have been 5 red cards.
What is that? The Atha. There you go. I've seen it before. That I do like her as a ref. I really do. So yeah, went over, and again, it was a quick VAR decision. I think she watched it once, and she was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's a foul. That's fine." So yeah.
Speaking of refs, do you know what I miss?
Go on.
That came from the World Cup, and they should keep doing, and they kind of
when they talk to the stadium.
Yes, the rugby thing that they tried from rugby, where they said, right, okay, if the refs are going to look at VAR, then we're going to mic them up, and they have to explain. After review, the ball contacted the defender's hand in an unnatural position, therefore penalty.
Yeah. My favourite referee in the world for that at the Women's World Cup was Stephanie Frappart. Yes. Who has the best voice, and she was actually the ref in the Germany-Italy game that I was going to talk about as well.
She has proper French teacher, schoolmistress kind of voice, isn't she? She's like, the ball that touched the hand of the defender, penalty. Like
after on-field review, penalty. Yeah, it was incredible. I loved her. So when I saw she was ref on the other match, I was like, oh, she's great. But no, there's just some referees that you just trust implicitly, aren't there?
If you're worrying about this, search Wes Macaulay in the NHL. Man with like me, man with a sense of drama. With me, it's choking to death while I'm talking about him. With him, it's but yeah, because in the NFL they have to do it. In the NHL, they skate to center ice. So, it'll be like in the World Cup having to run to the center circle and then stand there and give the thing. But you can spot people who are like absolutely love that particular moment. The absolute people who are like frustrated thespians, perhaps. Wes Macaulay is one of those. He'd give it the full. The call on the ice was called a goal. We believe it may have been goaltender interference. Upon further review, the call on the ice stands. We have a goal! Like literally spin round and make the, and it's like Stephanie.
That's what we need. Theatrics.
We need Stephanie Frappart just in every game, just like upon further review. The ball appeared to strike the defender's hand. Upon further review, I believe that was the case. Penalty, like
my decision. Penalty, and go. Phenomenal!
Can you imagine Cheryl Foster doing that though? Like
in a French accent?
No. What? Cheryl Foster is full Scouse, isn't she? Just
maybe, yeah.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a look, and I think the ball hit her hand, so penalty. Like just annoyed Liverpool fans. There you go.
Oh no! Now the Liverpoolians are going to come get you.
Jenny Flaherty doing it. Well, I think it might have been a penalty there, lad. So I've had a bit of a look. He hit him on the end.
When I was playing,
when I was playing, that had never been given, but that's just bad defending. So I think penalty.
In my opinion, who else could we try? But
Rachel Brown Finnis. Doesn't matter who's playing. Penalty to Arsenal. Like
yeah. Or even Emma Byrne. We haven't even kicked off yet, Emma. I don't care.
I don't care. I think it's a penalty. Oh, would you ever look at that? Oh, how are you?
Oh, it's a floaty lob.
It's a floaty lob. You're just sat there like.
I have finished this. This is where the sugar rush.
I was like, can you imagine the problem? Well, I'm not sure, mate. I'll have a look. Oh, Boston, I think that's a penalty. Is it a penalty? Oh, yeah, Bab. Penalty. There you are. Penalty to Villa. Like just... American accent. What part of America is that?
Yeah.
You want a California girl? Do you want a deep South? Which dude, I think like it might have been a penalty. Like the
But it
ball
might
was
not.
kind of there. Like, oh, whatever. Penalty, dude. Just
If anyone
Upon-
turns in now, they're going to be like, sorry?
upon further review, I do declare. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. That's a,
Mama, I do declare.
I do declare. Foghorn Leghorn giving penalty kicks. Boy, I say boy. Boy, I say boy. That ball hit your hand. That's a penalty, boy.
Yes, please. Oh, we need to.
Foghorn
Yeah.
Leghorn. We just need,
Oh.
how the NFL has Nickelodeon stuff.
Mm.
We just need cartoon characters, Warner Brothers cartoon characters. I thought I'd have a penalty.
What's up, Doc? You want a penalty?
No, that's when the physio comes on. That's when there's an injury. Yeah, what's up, Doc?
So the whistle is a carrot. Oh, a whistle made out of a carrot. That would be phenomenal.
Be very, very quiet. I'm checking for penalty.
I thought I saw a yellow card. Oh, now we're getting requests now.
You're close enough. You're from that part of the world, so you can kind of do.
Hang on, I'll embrace me. Day 2 in the VAR on-field review. The decision is knee penalty didn't be daft.
Knee penalty.
Welcome, Sam.
Hello, Sam. I love how Zach's like, that's how we speak. Zach really sounds annoyed. Like, that's how we speak to each other in Looney Tunes accents.
That's phenomenal. That needs to be a thing. We need more of this.
Hey, I'm VAR in here. You come to me on the day of the title decider with a request for VAR. I'm just trying to think of God lines now.
After that, I was just going to think of like Maximus. Just, are you not entertained? To the crowd.
Yes. Scottish one. You can take our penalties, but you'll never take our freedom.
What, Aaron Cuthbert just running through
Erin Cuthbert just there, like, yeah.
It's not your decision.
just German referees. Was it a penalty? You will answer the question. No, maybe not. That was a bit too stereotypical. Hey, ref, was it a penalty?
I thought you were going to go for 9. Not to salute. Oh, how did we get onto this?
Speedy Gonzalez. Penalty, penalty, penalty. Yariba. We're definitely getting cancelled now, aren't we?
Oh, we're definitely getting cancelled.
We've done Mexican stereotypes. We've done American stereotypes. We've done most of Europe.
Who else can we offend? No.
In Russia, penalty take you.
I wasn't expecting that.
Just that one. Just that one out of the blue. Just in Russia, penalty take you. Oh, I think it's a penalty, eh? That's Canadian. Not French Canadian, just Canadian.
Just Canadian. No, the Canadians would be like, do you want the penalty? No, it's okay. No, it's fine.
It's okay.
You take it.
You take the penalty first.
You fouled us, but it's fine. You take it.
You fouled us. Sorry, have the penalty.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I love how Tony's posted 3 or 4 times. Sam clipped that up and put it on the socials. Just a 5-minute burst of accents, VAR accents.
It's just, yeah.
Video accent referee. Variable accent referee.
Yes.
There you go.
There should just be like a randomizer, and then it
Imagine.
translates it into the stadium. Yeah.
Oh.
I think that'd be great. In fact, copyright, we'll patent that technology, and we'll
Shove your WSL and WSL2. These are the real revolutionary marketing strategies you want to go with.
Yeah, WPLL. We'll show you. We'll show you what to do.
See, this is why Freya and I should be left alone, because we've just gone off on a tangent for like 15 minutes.
If Chloe was still sitting here, I think she would be asleep.
Can you imagine if Rosie was on? Rosie would have.
Rosie would be on level 1,000 of Tetris by now.
She is the woman who arranges the blocks that fall down her from.
How do I go back into this match report now? After the VAR. Oh dear, that was a brilliant segue. So, right, okay. Football.
Football.
Football. So, yes, so VAR. Hey, so Anna Patton looked absolutely gutted, bless her. Now, Hannah Kane stepped up, sent Courtney Brosnan the wrong way, and that goal gave Wales. Gave Wales.
It was windy.
Hey. It could have been. There was Storm. What storms did we have? Bert, Ernie, the other couple that came through.
Actually,
so yeah.
I had a thing about the whole Hannah Kane penalty thing in social media, but we'll do that right at the very end.
We'll do that at the end. Yes. I've got it noted. So yeah, Hannah Kane steps up, converts, great, and a massive confidence boost for Wales, who honestly completely turned it around. Ireland for the first time looked really shaken and looked like, oh, actually they could lose it here. Now, Rachel Rowe doesn't get enough praise. We're taking some space for her. Gutted her chance didn't result in a goal. She was this drive and forward run, danced through two defenders, crossed the ball over to Hannah Kane, who just couldn't get there in time. Commentators, fun fact, called her Hannah Rowe, just to mix up the two there. Now, more proof that Hayley Ladd needs minutes. So January, we've said it before, she probably needs to go on loan to get those minutes to get fit for the Euros. Not saying she isn't, but you know what I mean. That's consistency, because she was so vital to that team. Now, there were shouts for handball again and a penalty shout for Ireland just before the 60th minute, but the ref waved play on. Wales then attacked on the counter, and again, Brosnan, incredible save to deny Angara James, who was captain last night. Sunderland loanee Jessie Stapleton she didn't come on as sub. She started that game. Great impression in these qualifying rounds. She's done incredibly well. So again, it's nice to see the youngsters come through for Ireland as well. Now, the 67th minute, so Jess Fishlock, incredible Welsh name there. She pulled her hamstring. And at the end said she didn't care. That was the least of her worries. And Carrie Jones comes on. Now, what an impact. Pretty much her first touch of the game was her goal, okay? And made it 2-0 to Wales. And you just thought, what is happening? Like, who is this Welsh side? Like, completely rejuvenated and revigorated. She shoved off Payne in the Irish defence, and Nifa, he just couldn't get there in time. And yeah, converted for 2-0. Now, the second half, and I know Freya number 2 in the chat said the second half was incredible. It was. My heart, like everyone who was watching the England game was like, it's all right. And we were like, no, turn over. put the Wales game on. Because Wales defended so well. And you could tell they were just like, right, we're 2-0 up. Defend for your lives. Like this is where we're going to keep it. Now, especially, we've talked about Irish set pieces. We know how damaging they can be. And they just didn't let them in, didn't let Ireland have a chance. Now, the last 15 minutes of the match, it seemed like Ireland had that realization of, oh, we could not go through here. And they just kicked right into gear and started to fight for this. In the 86th minute, so the minutes were winding down. Everyone was like, can they do it? Can they do it? Anna Patton of course, who gave away the first goal, unfortunately. She was the first to react and manages to header the ball into the back of the net to half that deficit. And that celebration of her and the team, you could just see how much it meant. And they were like, right, okay. The rest of the game was Ireland's. They had the possession, they had the chances, but again, nothing was coming through. As soon as Megan Campbell gets that ball, you just know her long throws are just phenomenal. They probably should be illegal, but they're not. And every time she got it, it looked like she was going like halfway up the stairs in the stadium to
Have
take
you
it.
seen her arms? It looks like she dislocates her shoulder.
But
when she
dislocates,
throws it.
yeah, and brings them forward,
It's
yeah.
film, and it's
Honestly. And the noise in that stadium, like it was so loud at home, so I can't even imagine what it was like in the stadium. Everyone's hearts are pounding. What's going to happen next? Will they? Won't they? What's going on? Bit like Ross and Rachel and Friends. What's going to happen? Now, it got to the 90th minute. She got off the plane. 8 minutes of
Wales
added
got on the
time.
plane. There we go. But yeah,
I got off the plane. Yeah, so 8 minutes of added time. You thought, right, can you get the equaliser? Can you take it to penalties? And there was like a goal line clearance from the Welsh defence. There was the 90+3, so the 93rd minute. Leanne Kiernan almost got them back level. She was clear on goal, pushing through, and it went just wide. I think it might have took a little deflection. But you just thought, this desperation in this Irish team, surely something's going to happen. Now, Wales were hanging on in those final minutes because shot upon shot was raining down on Clark's goal. And you know what? Fair play to her. She pulled off some magnificent saves. And when the whistle went, it was so bittersweet as a neutral watching it, because you could see what Ireland had brought to the game. You could see what Wales had done to see out the game. And they were talking about it at the end. They were like, sometimes you've got to win ugly. Like, you've just got to grind out a win. You've just got to do it to qualify. And under Rhiannon Wilkinson, of course, who came in, it was just this year, wasn't it? She hasn't been with them long. To do what she's done for that team, to get them in a position where they can compete. And they've now qualified for the first time in their history. And Jess Fishlock was saying at the end, this has been 20 years in the making, that they've been wanting this and working towards it, but there's been no belief in the Wales.
I love Jess Fishlock just not caring on her social media. Just,
just like, my head hurts, but I don't care.
My head hurts, but I don't care. Wales are going to the fucking Euros.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
There's our connect for Wales as well. There's our personal club connections, because obviously Mary McAteer and Ellen Jones have played.
Mary McAteer and Ellen Jones, yeah.
Liv Clark has also played. She's a lovely girl. I've interviewed her. Clang. There you go. There's the name drop. Charlie Escort as well. And just, yes, it's nice. Yeah. And like you say, the conversation. Can I just say, Graham? I know I've mocked some of your jokes before, but Rory DeLass from Megan Campbell is an absolute belter of a reference. Like, that is, Rory DeLass is just absolute top tier. Am I going to have to explain it?
Yes.
I was Rory DeLapp, who was another Irish international, famous for their long throws in, peak Barclays Premier League era of like the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s. So DeLass. That was. That's Graham's age showing. You see, that's me making my World of Sport references earlier on. Graham's responding to that one. But I love that. I love the fact that when Megan Campbell played for Liverpool, they had to use an actual cannon. Yeah,
I remember hearing that. Yeah, thanks for that, Tony, bringing that back. Yeah, just to try and defend against it, because it's so unique. It's the only one doing it.
I do love Wales going in because I can see it in the chat. Just Fionn Morgan, another former Coventry United player before moving to Bristol. See all the social media star with the Morgans, her family. That's going to pop off. But I almost and that was my, Cymru Ambeth obviously, is my topical tag. The other one that I nearly went with is Imar O'Heed, which, as a big fan of club and nation anthems that aren't, actual national anthems, Imar O'Heed is amazing.
Okay.
Because it's a song in Welsh, and it literally means we're still here. And it was written by a famous Welsh nationalist who wrote it to keep the Welsh language alive, because historically the Welsh language has been oppressed in schools in Wales and banned and seen as, it almost died as a language. And so to now have, and obviously the Welsh national anthem is sung in Welsh, but Imar O'Heed was a song about, we're Welsh and we're still here, even though people have, it's a proper Welsh nationalist song. And the fact that that is now a Welsh national anthem, and of course, Michael Sheen has to do a speech.
Not to.
For those of you who are aware, this Michael Sheen, obviously, who is professional Welshman. Basically, at this point, he's him and Bryn Terfel are kind of Wales's, and Cerys Matthews are kind of Wales's exports now, because Tom Jones only sings. But he did a speech, which I've now brought up because I have already rewritten it for him. Because, he might be busy. He might not have much time. So I've already rewritten it for him. I can see your face there, just like, oh, where's he going? George is probably like, oh, where's he going with this one?
No, I'm actually looking because Storm's really confused. He's in the doorway looking at us, and I'm like, you can come in. You can come and see me before you go to bed. But he just, I don't know, for some reason he got confused. But yeah, you go.
But yeah, Angela James and Natasha Harding spoke in Welsh on the pitch, which is very cool as well.
I like that.
Same as Evelina Suminen and Olga Artinen communicating in Finnish while playing for Spurs. But Welsh is a wonderful language. It's got far too many consonants, but it's a wonderful language. And Imar O'Heed basically means the chorus of Imar O'Heed is Gweithio pawb popeth 3 times, Rini Imar O'Heed, which means basically, despite everything, we're still here. And that's the level of defiance of it.
I really like it.
But Michael, I know you're a fan of the podcast. So I have rewritten your speech already.
Oh.
For the girls. Okay?
Hey, take it away.
So I can't do a Welsh accent that well, but Imar O'Heed. Imar O'Heed. We are still here. I hear the voices singing, speed your journey, Ferhead, Fernebach. A nation singing with one voice. A song of hope, a song of defiance, a victory song that floats through the valleys like a red mist, that rolls over the mountain tops like crimson thunder. A storm, a red storm are coming to the gates of Switzerland. It sparkles and crackles with the spirit of 58 and Jimmy Murphy's boys, 2016 and Robert Page, now the girls of Wales, proudly wearing the red shirt themselves. It turns the pages of the history books and finds Rian's page there, your page, waiting to be written, still waiting to be written. What would you write there, girls? Dare you write your names on that page? 51 years. 51 years of hurt and far from home, far from the old land of our fathers. Hen lad fainadai. When you're standing there listening to that song of songs start up shoulder to shoulder with the other girls in this room, teammates, friends, sisters, all selected by the divine. When you're standing there side by side and that holy song begins, close your eyes and feel the breath on the back of your necks, because that's every man, woman and child in this old land standing there with you at your back. That's the people of Wales, your people, Feel their breath quickening with yours. Hear their blood drumming in your ears, pounding through your heart, bursting in your chest. That's the blood of Wales. That's your blood, red as the ancient book of dreams, red as the rising flag of Merthyr, red as the great wall of Gwalior, red as the dragon themselves. Because that's what you carry with you, girls. Across 51 years, across half the span of the world, it's there on your chest. It's there on your back. It's there at your side, because they'll always say, you're too small, you're too small, you're too weak, too full of fear. But Ima, oh heed, you daughters of speed, with that red wall around us, we are still here. Come on, Wales. Come on.
Mate. Yes,
There you go.
mate.
There you go, Michael. If you won't do it, I'll
That
do
was
it for
phenomenal.
you. You know.
Now, before Tony puts it in there, we're going to clip that up.
Please
And
do.
we'll tag everyone, because that's what it needs, doesn't it? It needs everyone to get behind
Tag Michael in
the
it.
Welsh team and go for it. That was yeah, mate, well done. Yeah, tag everyone.
All I did with that, it wasn't quite a full week. I did add the bit because Michael doesn't mention the red dragon, and also I changed sons for daughters, obviously. So instead of boys back, it was Fairlet back, which is daughters of Wales rather than. So there you go.
But still, you had like the ability and creativity to do that, and that was brilliant, mate. Well done. I love that.
And it wasn't a bad way. I felt my Welsh accent coming out. It was really weird. Like it went
Practice.
more and more Welsh, didn't it? It was like
It did. It was great. Oh, I loved it.
there you go. If that goes viral, we'll clip that one up for Wales.
It should. It should go viral.
That's my tribute to the girls of Wales qualifying. There you go.
And what an emotional journey it has been. Oh, what a brilliant tribute. And talking about the players, shout out to them who also came to grab Sophie Ingle, who was on the punditry, to come and say, Nana, come on, come and celebrate. This is for you. Because, of course, Sophie Ingle out at the moment after suffering an ACL injury. So, as they rightly should, they were like, no, come on, you come in with us. And she did. She joined in the circle. She joined in the celebrating with the fans, the pictures, everything. And then returned back to her punditry for that one. And just, what a night. I don't feel like we can talk about anything else now. That was...
Well, to the untrained ear, I just heard groundskeeper Willie. So apparently I'm Scottish now.
Oh.
I thought that was Welsh, but to the Scandinavian ear...
Welsh too. There we go.
The Scandinavian ear, it was Scottish.
Yeah. The only thing that ruined it slightly then, of course, on social media, we'll just say this really quickly. A certain someone, former manager, decided.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, that it was the time and the place to. So this was Willie Kirk, everyone. And again, groundskeeper Willie to different Willie. He decided to post on social media about Hannah Kane, of course, scoring a penalty and seeing Wales through. It's like, at the end of the day, with everything that's gone on, just read the room.
I mean, this is, like you say, this is one of those things, because it turns out that Willie Kirk was in a relationship, and I believe still is, with Hannah Kane.
Seems to be, yes.
Which began while he was her manager at Leicester. Which, you know, okay, it's not illegal, because she is of legal age, he is of legal age, they're both consenting adults.
Yeah.
But
she's 25.
But it's skeevy.
It's just not the moment to.
It's not the moment to go, oh, look at my, see, look, that's my girl who's 20 years younger than me and who I got together with in really questionable circumstances.
Yeah, because then, like, we're talking about that, and we don't want to be talking about that.
I did enjoy the replies, though. Women's football fandom did excel itself.
They
The
did.
first,
They
the
did
first reply of "Love to see a proud dad" was absolutely,
I
that was
did enjoy that one. Yeah.
that was superb. Like, that was an absolutely beautiful. And then all the rest was just kind of all the kind of, I don't want to say celebrities of women's football Twitter because they're not, but the kind of fan accounts that you always see
Ones that you
appear
recognise, yeah.
and retweeted and recognised, just all in there putting loads of gifs of various types, or dude, read the room.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And it was a case of, you can say congratulations, of course, when you see her, you can text her, you do whatever, but don't make it about you.
It's like, this could have been an email kind of thing.
Yeah.
This meeting could have been an email.
This meeting could have been an email, yeah. But this podcast could never be an email, could it? Because we talk about far too much. Right then, the last things we'll talk about to wrap up. Another game that I watched was Germany 1, Italy 2. I'll just make this really brief. Stats-wise, Italy had no right winning this game at all.
I thought you were actually there because because in your Instagram thing, when you posted the picture, I'm like, Freya's never actually at the Ruhr Stadion, is she? Like,
no, I think Georgie might kill me. But no, I would have loved to have been there. That would have been phenomenal. No, it was. I took a screenshot from the stream. And it looked like quite good attendance as well.
it's a nice stadium, the Ruhr Stadion is. Pretty noisy.
It looked it. But yeah, it came from 2 German defensive errors, unfortunately, and an Italian team who were looking better all the time, by the way, who took their chances. It was a debut in goal for Germany for Mamucevic. I think I've said that right. And it's one she's probably going to want to forget, to be honest. The 11th minute, lapse of concentration at the back by Linda, who had the ball stolen from her by Cambiaghi, who found Bonfantini out to her right and converted. So 10 minutes in, shouts for offside, of course, but no, she was onside, unfortunately. Now, that early mix-up seemed to rattle Germany a little bit. And again, it's Germany getting back to themselves, as going through a period of transition. What do they look like now? What's kind of going on? Now, the home side then found their rhythm and dominated for the rest of the first half and most of the second as well. Now, Sens for Germany came the closest, tried to look from distance, unfortunately didn't come off. Possible penalty shout. Enderman was brought down inside the box, but Stephanie Frappart, of course, waved it away. No VAR, of course, in that match there. Now, after the restart, Germany tried to get the ball rolling in the net straight away. Clara Boole had a shot on target. But yeah, Giuliani was there to deflect it. Finally, in the 51st minute, Felicitas, I always say this wrong, Rauch? Rauch.
Yep.
Rauch.
Felicitas Rauch. There you go. That's
okay.
that's the German speaker coming out. That's the German accent.
No, I love it. It's great. But no, she gets one back. Very well placed header from Enderman's delivery. Annoying for the Italians, though, Giuliani did actually get hands to the ball, but she fell behind the goal line, and it slipped out of hands anyway and rolled into the back of the net. Again, similar to other matches we've seen, Germany just couldn't seem to take their chances, putting Italy on the back foot, and Italy had very few chances for the rest of the game. However, just after the 70th minute, Cantore capitalised on Mamucevic's mistake and made it 2-1. So Kleinhorn thought she'd done enough to pass the ball back to the keeper after intercepting it from Cantore. However, Mamucevic took a touch too many to escape the press of Bonansea, didn't see Cantore behind her, who poached it and converted. The 80th minute, Leah Schuler, who was a substitute in this one, came off the bench, fired a shot off the bar. So again, they were getting closer. But Germany had 19 shots compared to Italy's 9, 28 touches in the opponent's box compared to 17, 9 corners compared to 3, and you just thought the creativity was there, but they weren't clinical. Has Paul got that bored of me talking? Is that what's going on? Now, I said to Emma earlier that it's just going to be me talking to myself tonight, and yeah, looks like it is. So I'll talk to all you lovely people in the chat as well. Now, I'm assuming Paul will come back soon. I hope so, anyway, or else the end of this podcast will just be like a two Ronnies monologue right at the end. That's what's going to be. I've had Chloe leave me. I've had Paul leave me. What's going on? There he is. He said,
Sorry.
there we go. I just thought I was going to do the rest of it by myself.
Sorry everybody. Brief internet issues. You know, the awesomeness of my speech apparently killed the internet. So I do apologise.
It was the backlash. It was the backlash from that. But yeah, no, I was just essentially saying Germany should have won that one.
I was actually going to ask you about Italy as a regular watcher of Italy. One of the great European talents, or one of the really exciting European talents, Freya Corbett and her producer, Julia Dragoni. Is she as exciting as everybody seems to think? Because 17 years old and Italian, 12 caps for Italy already. Yeah,
she's risen up the ranks very quickly indeed. Young talent, very exciting new prospect. And honestly, yeah, she is. So yeah, one to watch if you haven't seen much of Dragoni. Now, I don't think she got any minutes in that one. Hang on.
I love how Rose is catching strays and she's not even. Bless her.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, she is. If you haven't heard of the name Julia Dragoni before, you certainly will. But yeah, I can't believe she's still only 17, to be honest. But yeah, so far, she's at Roma now. She was, she's on loan from Barcelona. That's it. Yeah, so she signed. Oh, she's just turned 18, so
you can sign a pro contract.
Yeah, she's out on loan
in
Roma at the minute.
Italy, because they've lost Salagama, who's kind of their Wendy Renard.
Yes, very influential.
And it's just interesting that they appear to be. You'd never picked Italy to beat Germany a couple of years ago, would you?
No, not at all. And by looking at it, they shouldn't have. But they had a bit of a lull, and they couldn't quite get it together. Something wasn't clicking, something wasn't right. But they're finally coming out of that slump. They're coming to the other side. And they're building. They're looking really, really good. Some more stats for Dragoni. Champions League, 4 matches, 3 goals this season for Roma as well. So yeah, she's good. She's going places. So yeah, watch out for her if you haven't seen her yet. But yeah, no, that was Germany, Italy. I don't know if you want to touch on France, Spain, Paul. I know you were thinking about it.
We can, but only in a sense that
don't want to.
Only in a sense of Spain being Spain.
Spain being Spain.
I turn to Bonmati doing Bonmati things.
Of course.
And scoring after 6 minutes. And then Claudia Pina after 23. And, pardon me, 2-0 up. Maria Mendes scoring an own goal for France after 37 minutes. And then in another player who looks far better when she doesn't have to suffer, Lucia Garcia. She doesn't have to suffer Mark Skinner, Lucia Garcia. There we go. That was what I was trying to say.
Yes, there we go.
And she scored for Spain in the 60th minute. And Arsenal's own Mariana Caldente, after 81, in between Kadidiatu Diani scoring a consolation for France. And yeah, it was a weird game because Spain only has 7 shots and scored 4 of them.
So there we go.
It was Constance Picot who was in goal for France as well. So it wasn't perhaps their first choice goalie. but still. And it was something of an experimental French lineup, in the way it was lining up. Like you had, for example, a kind of weird situation where you almost had Kadidiatu Diani as a wing back, like because with her on one side, Sunday Baltimore on the other. Sakina Karshawi on the other, and then Sunday Baltimore in front of them. But it was just, you just look at it and go, that's a weird French lineup going on there. So can we really take that much from?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Experimental
I just saw the little clip of Patry and Kenza Dali just having a little tiff, and that looked quite fun to me. Now everyone's whinging that we're going on too much. So
they complain about us being late, and then move on, and we give them bonus podcast.
Give them bonus content here. Can we start the show at 6 p.m. next week? Mate, we can barely make it for 8:30, so no. No, we cannot. But let's have a brief overview of the weekend, and then I promise I'll let you all go to bed. We won't be too much longer. So ignore this first slide.
Chelsea beat Man United. There we go.
Yeah, so remember this weekend then, it's the WSL, and it's also the FA Cup third round. Women's FA Cup third round, I should specify, even though, of course, it is. So in the WSL, as normal, we've got Man United Liverpool, Man City Leicester, Tottenham Everton, Arsenal Villa, Chelsea Brighton, and West Ham Crystal Palace. So all of those are coming to you on Sunday afternoon. So if you go into any of them, it'll be fantastic. Unfortunately, I can't make it to the Villa game because the Emirates last season was incredible. Maz Pacheco nearly got the winner. Sophie's like, that's this weekend already? Yes. Yes, it is. It's Arsenal weekend. But yeah, again, some massive matches in there, particularly. I think Chelsea Brighton will be quite good in that one.
Chelsea Brighton will be tasteful. Return of Frank Kirby.
Yes, absolutely.
And this again is the first weekend that Chelsea aren't on telly, I believe. We were talking about this.
It's only taken till December, but we got there. There.
West Ham Crystal Palace. Nice little chance for one or two of them to get out the relegation zone.
Well, that's the thing, and again,
Leicester are playing Manchester City as well.
Looking for, especially from like a Villa bias perspective as well. If Spurs can beat Everton and keep them down, and City can beat Leicester to keep them down as well. And yeah, if West Ham and Crystal Palace can just get a draw, that's fine. Fine by me. But yeah, no, Graham's absolutely right. It's huge at the bottom there in the relegation battle. Because again, Crystal Palace, they just need to get a few more goals going their way to really cut into that deficit, don't they? But yeah, massive weekend in the WSL there. Now, for FA Cup wise, third round, Graham's just put in the chat there. One of the good ones we'll be looking for, Charlton versus Friends of the Pod Lewis. Charlton versus Lewis in there. Now, there are over 20 games on the third round, so I won't bore you with all of them. But another key one, Birmingham City Durham. So again, top two in the championship. Let's have a quick look. Nottingham Forest Burnley. Again, that's going to be because they're both Premier, aren't they?
They are both national Premier.
Yeah.
They're both in the same division as well. So
yeah, so that's going to be a really good one. Interestingly, Luton Town, who we talked about earlier, getting that 15-14 win on Pens, are against Portsmouth. They could do it.
There's a shock. There could be a shock on there.
It could be a shock.
London City versus Gwalia United, which I feel genuinely sorry for Gwalia for. Gwalia previously Cardiff,
yes, of course,
and now known as Gwalia, as referenced by the Michael Sheen speech, as an old name for Wales. See Southampton versus Bristol City as well, another World Championship tie.
Yeah, gonna be good. Liverpool Feds against Sheffield United. Sunderland versus Huddersfield Town. That would be a good one as well. But yeah, again, so yeah, if you are interested, like we said, there's over 20 fixtures. Hopefully there'll be one near you. So if you're not doing anything this Sunday, you can have a little look. Now, Chris has just put Chester Street Town Ladies versus Stoke City Women or Loughborough Lightning. Stoke v Loughborough have to play their game on Thursday and travel north on the Sunday. Oh, that's not leaving much time, is it?
That's a
fair,
bit. That's not good, is it?
If they're going that far down,
you wouldn't see that in the men's FA Cup.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't at all. So yeah, that's not on, is it? Well, hopefully the travelling team's there then. Although we don't want the travelling team to win, do we? No, we don't, because we want Chester Street.
North East and everything.
But we know Loughborough Lightning, they're doing things in the Division 1 Midlands. So watch this space and we'll have it all for you next week. Now, on Sam's request, we've got some new socials. Guess what's been added? Best new content.
Blue Sky. Have we got Blue Sky now?
We have. Blue Sky and best new content creator. Because we are. Award-winning, don't you know? 4 accents. That's it. That's what we're best new content creator for. Not the football. Not the football at all. So, yes, we know most of you do follow and subscribe and everything you can. But if you are new to the show, well done for still watching. We thank you. But yeah, come and join in on the madness every week. So as you can see on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast, and same on Twitch. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod, and Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast with an underscore. Blue Sky, of course. I do keep calling it Sky Blue for you, Paul. We are at Absolute Football, and on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast as well. Now, of course, we are award-winning, and we are here every Wednesday. Now, from Sam, if anyone watches the Premier League show, just a reminder, the next 2 Premier Leagues are going to be on a Tuesday, not a Monday, okay? So the next 2 weeks, there's going to be Premier League on a Tuesday, Women's on the Wednesday, Lower League on Thursday. So nice 3-day chunk in the week there. And Chris has just put on there, Spennymoor Town Ladies have a home game, and if you've got a men's season ticket, you can get into Sunday's game for free. Yes, a lot of football clubs are doing this. If you're a season ticket holder, for the men's and the women's, they have a crossover. So do check it out with your local club to see if you can go to the games this weekend for free for that one. Now, and Charlton are doing it too. Hey, Charlton. Well, good luck for Charlton on Sunday, Graham. We can't wait to talk about it next week with you. Now, I think that's it from us. Finally, you'll all be pleased to know you can all go to bed. So, Paul, thank you very much, as always. Where can people find you if they'd like you
to? At Paul W Radio on either Twitter, or you add the .bsky.social thing that you have to add to bsky because it's a bit longer. For Blue Sky as well. I mean, I tend at the moment I tend to post the same thing on both platforms, but it's kind of it's there. So you know, if you don't want to be on Twitter, you can follow me on Blue Sky and vice versa.
Perfect. And if you want to follow me again across all platforms, I'm either at T Rights or T_Rights, one of the combination, on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Blue Sky. I'm across everything. You'll find me. I'm there. And if you want to hear more things, Villa, on a Thursday night, we do a Villa podcast called Part of the Pride. So please do come and join us if you're interested in that as well. So thank you very much for everyone still watching, still listening. We do realise it's been a long one tonight, but there was lots and lots to go through. So
thank you. Dramatic speeches and accents and stuff. Lots
of drama, lots of accents. But hey, we are Team Chaos. That's exactly what
it's this way. We filled the end of season compilation just through tonight, I think.
Yeah, and I'm getting emails from Georgie like, can you wrap this up? And
yes,
can you?
Sorry, Georgia.
Sorry, Georgie. Right. We love you all. We'll see you next week. Have a lovely one. Thank you. Good evening and goodbye. everyone.